Yet about to have a close encounter, lad. I gotta check
Yet
some.
about to have a...
Like listening to my absolutely hysterically bad Scottish accent in my own ears. That's always a fun one. Okay, good. Sorry about the blanky bits there for a second. I had to make sure that something wasn't set the way something wasn't set. It's good that it wasn't set that way. Okay. And 1 second while I take care of that. Okay, hi, what's up, people? It's 107:27 on May 23rd, this glorious year of 2012. And I am Flynn Church. That's about the size of the situation, really. I am who I am. You are who you are. I hope you are who you are, because if you're not who you are, then you should probably go find yourself because you're running away. This is the Church of Flynn for Wednesday, May 23rd. I apologize for not being around a little bit earlier this week. The household has kind of been in a tussle for a few weeks, or a few days rather. And, well, frankly, I've been helping people not go crazy. So, welcome. Glad you decided to come back after I was such a slacker for 4 straight days after saying, maybe I'll stream on Saturday. And then I didn't, and not on Sunday, and not on Monday, and then not on Tuesday. So, without too much more blather from the blather committee that is my mouth, we're going to jump right back into Callahan's, see if we can't get this done today. We only really have one chapter left. That's Al Fee's chapter where he's going completely insane. Hey there, Car, I see you came in. I know you came in a little while ago, but I figured I'd say hi now. We're also about to roll over 3,000 views. We will definitely hit 3,000 views today. There's no question in my mind that we will do that. So, let's get Callahan's back up. And we are still in the future, out by Jericho Turnpike. Let's have a round of applause for autosaves. We still don't have any idea what the fuck we're supposed to be doing, though, so, Rat's ass smells of cheap sweat and sour cologne. Not to be confused with cheap sweet and sour cologne, which is considered a grooming delicacy in some cultures. An unpleasant man with the agitated, fidgety movements of a Dustin Hoffman and the perpetual whine of a Joe Pesci stands just inside the alley, making calls and looking uncomfortable. It was recommended... no sound. What the fuck? XSplit. Just a second. Not that you're missing a whole lot, but yeah, eventually they're going to start talking, and yeah, you're going to want to hear that. Better? Hi, Emmett. Okay, cool. Groovy. Alright.
What now? I'm trying to...
Who are you?
Who's asking?
Stonebender.
Rat say... Excuse... I don't give a flying filbin how much you pay me. You don't say anything about it to her. Are you listening to me? I'll pull you out from the... I know I'm sorry. Why?
Who are you?
Who's that? Rat... Excuse me.
Wow, you can just go around in
know
a circle on this
Why?
this dialogue.
You know anything about a Dr. Duplicitous?
Shh. No, look, I'll call you back when it shows up, and if it doesn't, I'm going... Look. Okay.
I have a question, but it's not actually about Dr. Duplicitous.
He looks pained as you blurt out the name.
What?
What's voyatrazine?
I don't know.
I know it exists. I know what it does.
I know you know it exists. Look, I'll be straight with you because I can read your mind and you can't read mine. And because you're not sticking around here long enough to be a... So, here's the deal. There's a...
Okay, so we had all these conversations last time. Atrazine, horribly addictive. Everybody's taking it because they need a leg up against everybody else.
What?
You know...
Shh. No, look. Look. Okay.
Who is Dr. Duplicitous? And why are you saying those terrible things about me?
Hey, shut up. Stop saying it out loud. Listen to me. You're walking around, your thoughts are shouting. It's like you're poking around asking about the biggest evil genius in the country, and you're on his turf, man. This is a good way to get yourself recycled.
He's an evil genius?
Well, he's not the most famous. He's not in it for the glamour. He's more of an evil genius's evil genius. He's the one behind all the famous ones. Fester Boyle, the head lice, Max head wound, all the big he studied under. The doctor.
What does he do?
The usual: prostitution, gambling, drugs, gun running, politics, music, after-school sports programs, loan sharking, maybe a little broadcast journalism. You know, wherever he's needed the most. Mexican police. What else can I tell you?
You know anything?
Shh. No. Okay, Wally, one.
What do you mean you can read me like a book?
He stares at you intently for a couple of seconds.
Nothing. It was a quip. A figure of speech.
That's all?
Yeah, I got work to do.
You mean because you're on...
No, there's no such thing as voyatrazine. If you don't mind, I got calls.
Alright, there's supposed to be a conversation thread for this guy that I can't
What?
get to show up.
You know...
No. Okay.
Why are we not supposed to say his name out loud?
That's a stupid question, and if... Oh, you really don't know. I like a man who doesn't know his way around. See, he don't like to officially exist. It's a tax thing. So when I don't like talking about this, it's a waste.
Who... I'm glad I'm on his turf. I need to see him.
Rat's ass sputters and laughs.
Right, sure, listen to me. I worked for him for years. I was a henchman in the organization. And even I never got to see him.
Then how do you know there is one?
You're wasting my time. You want to get yourself recycled? Go ahead. He's right in that building there. But you won't get to see him. You don't have the know-how or the wherewithal or the whatnot. You gotta be in his private circle like I am.
He indicates the large, modern-looking building down the boulevard.
Well, okay. I'll be sure to tell him you sent me.
The blood suddenly drains from Rat's ass's face.
Don't bring me into this. The organization and I are going through a kind of rough period, you know, like we're not really understanding each other, hence the windshield.
Tell you what, you give me some help getting to see him, I'll keep your name to myself.
Listen, the big guy's got a private elevator to his lab. I can tell you how to get in, but you gotta do something for me.
I thought he was more doing a Jack Nicholson impression. Because he's supposed to be like Al Pacino, fucking, Jack Nicholson and some other shit rolled up into one gigantic greasy bundle. Dustin Hoffman doing Rizzo Ratso.
Are you the kind of person I should be cutting a deal with?
You'd have to be nuts not to. At least hear me out.
I suppose.
I gave the organization some collateral that I could really use right now. I know where they keep it. I just don't want to be that obvious, you know, to come looking for it when technically we're sort of at odds right now.
Where do they keep it and what is it?
They keep it in the fridge in the first floor lounge. It's not that big a deal, but it's my kidney, you know.
Your kidney.
Yeah, they came and took it last week when I was a little late getting back to them about something. I don't need it, okay? I still got one. But the one they took, there's a sentimental value to it, you know? I signed my name in the snow with it. I had kidney stones. We had history, you know? Anyway, it's not that big a deal. You might need to join the organization a little, but you know, you're going back to, what, the 1990s, is it? So what do you care?
I have to join the organization?
Maybe. That's all I'm saying. Just go get it. They keep the collateral in the little fridge. Piece of cake. Go get it. I'll get you up to see the big guy. Excuse me there. I gotta make a call.
And so saying, he starts punching numbers into his phone and muttering to himself about how if he doesn't get back to D'Amato, he'll end up with his butt in a sling and his head on a block of something. So, okay, we need to get Rat's ass's kidney. This is the spacious and overchilled Underworld Center, home of the organization and many of its related vendors, law firms, and subsidiaries.
You get a license and I didn't hear about it.
Not really, no.
Yeah, and with an honest attitude like that, you're not gonna. Yeah?
The thug goes to the refrigerator, opens it, and looks inside. Then he closes it and walks back over to you.
Nope. Just the two I put in there.
You didn't take them both out of the same person, did you? The thug's face goes white. He struggles to remember.
I don't... Wait, no, that's right. They was from two different guys. Don't scare me like that.
Yes, sir? You'll need to meet the official standard appearance for a thug, the first level of membership. You'll also need that completed harassment voucher and a sponsorship card from a registered organization member. For you, the appropriate accoutrement would be a ponytail, a pair of sunglasses, and a tattoo.
I'm trying to harass Perrier over at Home Cookin', but he won't cooperate.
That's too bad, Mr. Stonebender. Have you tried hurting him?
Sort of. But he says he doesn't have time to be harassed until the lunch crowd is gone.
Well, I'm sure you'll think of something. Maybe you can get rid of them by raising a stink about something. That always works for me.
I'll be back.
We'll be here until closing.
Yeah? Been in the family for generations. Good thing my great-great-great-great-grandfather picked up a pair when he had the opportunity. Scarce as hell now. Nope. I don't get it, but whatever.
Okay, now that line actually makes sense.
Lab, I'm terribly sorry. Dr. Duplicitous is unavailable. Would you care to speak to a henchman or big shot? Thank you. Please hold.
Hey, won't work on us. Our minds are like iron traps. Impenetrable. Impervious.
Imperceptible.
Yeah, that too.
You pull your hair through the rubber band, double it over a couple of times, and give yourself a nice tight little ponytail. I look fucked up. You try to throw the root beer bottles, but they don't break on impact. Instead, they bounce almost all the way back to you. You retrieve and examine them.
I'd swear these bottles are glass, but it's fantastic. That's right, kids. It's glass-tastic, the fantastic elastic glass.
Try it and die.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to try it. You blow the whistle as hard as you can, but apparently it's not quite powerful enough to transcend time. You sneak up behind the glazier and deftly pluck the cutter from his belt.
Yeah?
What's happening?
I don't know where my cutter is. I can't believe I lost it. I never lose my tools.
Don't you have another?
Well, usually. I left it at the job I just came from. I don't understand how this could happen. I'm so careful with these things. And I know it was here. Unless the blackouts are returning. Have you noticed me stripping and running around in an aroused state?
What do you mean by aroused state?
I mean, when I was naked, was I obviously, turned on? Excited?
Nothing like that. Naked, yes. Excited, no.
The glazier heaves a great sigh of relief.
Well, that's good. Now, where's that cutter? I'm gonna have to retrace my steps.
Hey, maybe you could use this glass cutter. You do the right thing.
Excuse me, I believe this is yours?
The glazier hesitantly takes the glass cutter.
This is just like the one I had.
It is. It's yours.
No, I don't think so. I lost mine yesterday. This one I actually took from this other guy who had it sticking out of his belt.
Maybe you're getting some wires crossed.
No.
He pulls a wad of bills out of his pockets, counts some off, and presses them into your hand.
I can't accept this money.
Sure you can. Look, this is great. Now I've got one to replace the one I stole until I found the one I lost.
Rather than contradict the glazier, who seems to determine to pay you for giving him back his own glass cutter, you relent and accept the money. Scraps of very thin, dark plastic lay on the street where the glazier has cut the tinting for a new windshield. You pick up the largest single scrap of tinted plastic. Now I just, need some sunglasses. There's some glasses.
Oui?
Just what kind of restaurant is this, anyway?
We have been in our ship.
Caliph?
It was until...
How's business?
Are you from the organization?
No.
Business is pretty good. The lunch crowd is lingering longer than usual today. It's probably because we're on DEFCON 1 alert again today. Folks have a hard time caring about getting back to work on time during DEFCON 1 alerts.
How's business?
Are you...
Yes.
Business is lousy. Hey, you were just lying to me.
I mean, I'm working on it.
Well, be nice to the ones you meet on the way up.
I think I just heard somebody drop a fork.
That can't work on me. I know what you're doing before you do it.
No thank you, you're perfectly comfortable right here. Yeah, I'd much rather not eat the cooking. The money you eventually accepted from the glazier in return for his own glass cutter. You have all you'll ever need. Oh, so I can buy a tattoo.
I like the image of the Statue of Liberty, the one that says, light it, but I can't tell what the statue's doing.
She's lighting New Jersey.
Why?
To burn off the top layer. It'll cost you that whole $30 in your wallet.
Do you have anything cheaper?
I was giving you a break. $50 is usually my minimum. This is for the thugs?
Yeah.
You don't want that design. I'll give you what you need.
For $20?
Hervé just glares at you.
All right. $30.
You start to hand him the wad of money when he pauses and looks straight into your eyes.
Are you positive about this?
Do it to it.
Hervé takes the money and puts it somewhere behind the counter.
Put your hand here.
He takes your hand and after swabbing it carefully with antiseptic wipes, goes quickly to work.
So you're giving me what all the thugs get, is that it? Ow. You know, I thought this was gonna hurt more than it does. It's actually not too bad. Ow. It's not a very colorful tattoo, is it? Ow.
Half hour later,
About how this friend of a friend of mine got his nipple tattooed, but it got infected, so eventually it fell off. Now, is that possible, or is it just an old wives' tale?
Done.
he inspects your hands carefully, holding it up to eye level and sighting down the lines to check himself for accuracy. It's a great job, especially considering he did it freehand. The needle is thrown away. Hervé replaces it with the needle he was using earlier on the pear, pulls out his trusty fruit, and resumes practicing. You admired the job he did on the back of your hand, a perfect universal product code.
Great job. Do I have to take any special care of it?
Don't get it under any high-frequency lasers. They'll take it right out.
Thanks.
Sure.
Being careful not to stick yourself, you take the needle as a souvenir of your short but indelibly etched in your memory visit to the Tattoria. A cord delivers power to the tattooing gun from the control box.
I don't understand what you would hope to gain from doing that.
The upper hand.
I have the upper hand, but I'm not your enemy. I'd rather you left the cord alone. You might make me slip. Yes, the cord. I don't understand.
Why would I want to fuck with his cord? The needle Hervé used to give you your tattoo gives you immense pleasure.
May I harass?
Can't you?
Can we hurry?
I'm trying, believe me. We usually use the refilling the water glass after every sip technique, but we're short-handed today.
Oh, where are the bottles?
Help! She's killing me!
Oh, why don't you act your age? Have a little dignity.
I have no idea what's going on there. You walk over to the bench and sit for a moment. The locals appear hostile and the park isn't the least bit enjoyable except for its bizarre fakery. After a minute, you get up and wander back to the corner you've quickly come to think of as your own. You hop up on the statue and snatch the glasses off of Charles's head. Nobody stops you. This is a pair of old reading glasses somebody was using to make a bold satirical statement. There, Bloody Clayton. You carefully push the clear lenses out of the frames. You wait for a satisfying snap, but they're not high quality enough to snap. They're sort of flute. They sort of flit.
No, thanks. I got plenty of that. I use the scraps. Yes?
How's that cutter working out for you?
The glazier looks at you and smiles.
This is a very nice cutter. It's a lot like mine, only a little more broken in. I like it better this way. And the price, well, I don't want you to think I ripped you off, but I usually pay twice as much for a cutter of this quality.
Don't worry, you did.
So I need to trim the tinting. The ice cream wagon's lid has been padlocked to keep away thieves, varmints, and itinerant time-traveling folk singers. Darn those itinerant time-traveling folk singers, etc., etc., etc. These are empty eyeglass frames made from a mixture of 50% post-consumer waste and 50% waste of a postal consumer. The trendy Nouvelle Cannibal restaurant is suitably furnished with post-neo-modern tables and chairs with a shaker influence. Perrier shifts among the tables, wiping off the occasional overlarge chunk of carbonized air from the seats and tables. You start to enter the restaurant when the maitre d' stops you.
Oui?
I think I just heard somebody drop a fork.
The alley looks and smells rancid, but at least that'll keep the people away from the time sled. You wander down the alley, surveying the filth. You realize that much of the garbage is going through rapid decomposition, which explains the aroma. For all you cryptic crossword lovers, this would be your ordinary military police in a Plymouth sedan and a large trash bin 8. For those who'd like a full explanation of the answer, click look on the garbage bin 5 more times in a row. Okay. For those who'd like a full explanation of the clue military police in a Plymouth sedan and a large trash bin, click look on the trash bin 4 more times in a row. Otherwise, try it yourself by the following hints. In every cryptic crossword puzzle, there are 2 parts, a straight definition of the answer and a sneaky little rebus in the same answer. As if anyone would actually keep drawing. Oh, wait, that's the wrong thing. For those who'd like a full explanation of the clue, click look on the trash bin 3 more times in a row. Otherwise, here's another hint. In the clue military police in Plymouth sedan and a large trash bin, the rebus part is military police in Plymouth sedan. A direct synonym for the answer is large trash bin part. For those who'd like a full explanation of the clue, click look on the trash bin 2 more times in a row. Otherwise, here's another hint. Cryptic crossword rebuses often use abbreviations. What's the standard abbreviation for military police? MP. For those who'd like full explanation of the clue, click look on the trash bin 1 more time. Otherwise, here's another hint. Cryptic crossword rebuses often use synonyms. Think of a car made by Plymouth. Then put the abbreviation for military police inside of it. This is the military police in Plymouth sedan part. The other part is the straight definition, large trash bin. The answer is dumpster. So they made a call called a dumpster? Duster, Plymouth Duster. Derb. The sedan is a duster. Oh, it says right there. DMP stir equals dumpster. There, now you know how to do cryptic crossword puzzles. Well, a little anyway. You find slender in egg drink is zilch. No thin ing. Nog, thin, no thin, nothing. That was fun. Let's do that again. This gentleman is lingering over what appears to be cookies and apple slices. Okay, it's a menu. This is a listing of the various specials available at Ohm Cooking today. Specials at Ohm Cooking today are grilled plankette of flight attendant, flown in fresh daily with pesto cream sauce and summer squash compote, hickory smoked smoky mountain hick with melted jack and girly fries, grilled chicken Caesar salad, and apple brown Betty with Faxon chocolate mousse. Oh, I think we actually already looked at that. The door suddenly flies open and a young woman flies out wailing, "It's people! The chef salad with mixed baby green and peppercorn ranch is made with real chefs! Aren't they people?" Perry reads the recipe with increasing disgust and finally tosses it back at you.
That's not a recipe, it's an abomination. What's this?
A sponsorship card for the organization.
I am not a member. I cannot sponsor you.
Okay, time to let me harass you.
But my lunch crowd hasn't dispersed yet.
Maybe I can find a way to make them lose their appetite.
Oh, thanks.
That's kind of been my goal. Not another one, what? Oh, not today.
I didn't do it.
You got anything that would clear out a crowd?
I got good stink bombs.
Can I get one from you?
Maybe. What's it worth?
What do you want?
You got any blasting caps?
How about some really good chocolate?
No, but I'll tell you what. I'll trade you a bloodsicle for a stink bomb.
What's that?
Ice cream.
That's nice that you still have ice cream.
It's not really ice cream, but I like it because it spreads rapidly when you set it on fire.
Okay, fair enough. I'll get you a bloodsicle. Go back to what you were doing. Don't lose a finger.
You carefully insert the needle into the lock and work it around. After a few seconds, there's a click and the padlock pops open. With the lock picked, you're able to open the freezer door. As you do, the ice cream man bolts over from the restaurant, his face livid. He hollers at you to get away from his wagon. He adds that he knows you just wanted him so he could... Bleh. He adds that he knows you just wanted him so that you could buy ice cream for the jerk with the firecrackers and that you could have waited till he had his own dessert. You ask the ice cream man for a bloodsicle and then realize you spent every last cent you had on a tattoo. Fortunately, the ice cream man picks up on the fact that you've got chocolate. Facts on chocolate, he asks you. You tell him that, yes, in fact, you have one of the 3 original bars of Facts on chocolate ever made, hand-molded by the woman who discovered the ancient grove that Facts on chocolate comes from. He knows you're telling the truth and is extremely impressed. You give him a small taste of the chocolate, and he willingly gives you a bloodsicle. Alright. You swap the bloodsicle and the bomb with the young punk, whose eyes light up. Isn't it nice to see that even in these days of jaded youth, ice cream still brings delight to a child? He practically inhales the ice cream and meticulously licks off the stick.
Watch this.
He pulls out a match and lights the dry end of the stick. He cocks his arm back and flings the stick across the park. As it reaches the end of its arc, it bursts into flame and explodes when it hits the ground. Cars swerve, mothers scream, fathers weep, children applaud, and the punk giggles maniacally.
See? That's why I wanted you to buy it for me. They won't sell them to kids my age.
You evil fiend.
Not yet, but someday I hope to be.
The stink bomb lands on the ground in front of the home cooking and fills the block with a foul stench. The maitre d' runs into the street trying to get everyone to come back or at least pay their bills. Oh god, it's a blur effect! Perrier rushes back outside and quickly removes the bomb from the premises.
Mon Dieu, please do not leave, Madame, Monsieur.
The crowd at the restaurant has a similar reaction and they clear out immediately.
Je suis... Ah, god damn it. Oui?
I think I just heard somebody... Your lunch crowd seems to have cleared out. You owe us some money, I believe. You better pay up, or else.
Oh yes, it's harassment time, isn't it?
Damn straight, mister.
Very well, go ahead.
If you don't give us our money pretty soon, we're gonna have to get tough. Maybe damage all of this, okay? So let's get with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, consider yourself harassed.
That's it? You call that harassment? That's hardly even making a nuisance of yourself. Here, grab me by the collar.
You grab the maitre d' by the collar.
Now shake me.
You shake him back and forth.
Not so gently. What am I, a baby?
You shake him harder.
Like that?
It'll do. Now hit me.
Do I have to?
And you're in the organization. Come on. Okay, slap me then.
You half push, half smack him in the jaw.
Pitiful. Harder. Come on, my grandmother could harass me better than that. Rough me up. Throw me against the brick wall. Punch me in the stomach.
You give him an Indian burn.
No, like this.
He hurls himself bodily against the wall, then throws himself across the table and onto the floor. He stomps himself a few times for good measure, necessitating a rather awkward contortion. Finally, he stands up and wipes a small trickle of blood from the corner of his mouth.
That kind of thing. Now, do you want to give it a try?
You give him a very hard noogie to the top of the head.
Hopeless. That was the worst harassment in the whole glorious history of harassment. Okay, I'll have the money by tomorrow, yada yada yada. Now, if you'll excuse me... I've already filled that out. I'm certainly not going to let you make me put myself through that again.
How very Edward Norton. You got a good-sized scrap of tinting from the glacier. That's some good scrounging you did there. It's almost as good as the time you found a discarded 5x5 block of foam rubber in front of the upholstery place in Huntington. At least you'd think it was discarded. Alright, so the only thing we have left is we need to get the sunglasses together. Well, we need somebody to sponsor, but you know. Also, really, why did that open? Ah, well. So, hopefully people are having a good day today and all that stuff. Using his new glass cutter, the glacier is removing the old bullet-ridden windshield and replacing it with a shiny new one. You'd think he'd have a utility knife or something.
Good stuff, High Res. Nothing I like better at the end of a long day than to kick back and defrag with a frosty mug of High Res.
Sure.
My whole family loves it, even my anti-alias.
Badum-ching.
Yes?
How's that cutter working?
This is kind of...
Don't worry.
Yes?
How long do these windshield jobs take anyway?
Depends. With Mr. Puka, as long as he's on the phone, I can find something to do. When he needs it, I can have it finished in 10 minutes. This way, I get a decent buck, he congratulates himself on having good timing, and we both go away happy.
Can't he tell you're deceiving him?
Well, on some level, he knows, but he's one of those people who'd rather go away happier than wiser. Just because we're psychic and we can hear each other's thoughts, that doesn't mean we don't hear what we want to hear.
That's very deep.
Really? It's like they need to reinforce their world view at any cost, even if it means actively misinterpreting the data?
No. That's not quite as deep.
I thought it was the same thing.
Well, maybe it is.
Told ya.
Sorry. I know you're trying to work.
I am. What are you getting at?
Nothing.
What now?
You go.
The ice cream man starts to go on at length about how wonderful he thinks the chocolate is and how grateful he is to you. You're sort of embarrassed by the display, but it's kind of exciting to think that your trip to Brazil has had such pleasant ramifications down the timeline.
Hello?
You're not in the organization by any chance, are you?
Oh, yes, they have bingo.
Would you sponsor me?
I'd be honored. I think you'd make a very nice crook. Stand up and let me look at you.
You obligingly stand up and pirouette for the old lady.
Yes, you'll do well. Oh, this is so exciting. Where do I sign?
You give the old lady your sponsorship card and she fills it out, smiling widely the whole time.
There you are. You'll let me know how you're doing, won't you? I want to be able to tell people my protege is successful. And you come to me with any assignments you don't know how to handle, okay?
Of course. And thank you.
Goodbye, goodbye.
Whoop! And then cut the tinting with the utility knife. As you hand the utility knife to the glazier, he reaches into his pocket and you immediately step backwards.
Really, I can't accept any money.
I wasn't gonna give you money. I just had to adjust my boys.
You affix the circular tinting to the glasses and attempt to squeeze out as many of the air bubbles as you can. You press the tinted glasses into the frame. Miraculously, you've come up with a pair of halfway decent-looking sunglasses. You slip on the sunglasses. Not bad. Yeah, you kind of look like a person. You hand your homemade sunglasses to the receptionist who peers through them.
Very nice. There's a little air bubble or something in that left lens, but these looks dirty and should offer nice protection against UV. And do you have your other prerequisites?
I think I do.
Let's see.
She goes over her checklist with care. She approves your new hairstyle, your sunglasses, and your tattoo.
Smart choice of tattoo. Most of us end up getting one of the UPC tattoos anyway. It makes payday go so much quicker.
Then she meticulously checks both the harassment voucher and the sponsorship card.
If I end up making a mistake here, it takes weeks to untangle. Yep, these are both just fine. Congratulations, Mr. Stonebender. I have a feeling being a third-rate thug is just the beginning for you. Just a moment and I'll get your license.
She types into her terminal under the counter and a minute later produces a slick laminated card certifying you as a third-class thug in the organization.
Thanks for waiting. You'll be receiving your class schedule and information packet in the next few days. And at your first class, you'll be fingerprinted and photographed.
Thank you. I'll try to make you proud.
Did I just get victory music? This represents one of the proudest days of your life, marred only by the realization that you'll be dead the next time it comes around.
Yeah? Been in the family for Good thing. I don't get...
You start to walk into the thug's lounge, but the thug looks at you with those big, dark, glassy eyes and roots you to the spot.
I ain't seen your license yet, cupcake.
Read it and weep.
You play your trump card and thrust the license in the thug's face. He grabs your wrist and pulls your arm back so he can focus on the license. His brain slowly absorbs its meaning, very much in the same manner that a solid block of brass soaks up water, and he lets go of your wrist.
That's good enough.
Taking offense at the undeserved rough treatment you received, you don't mince words with him.
You darn tootin' it is.
You march triumphantly into the thug's lounge. You can almost hear the crowds roaring and the theme from Chariots of Fire. An open-looking refrigerator, roughly the size of a $1,200 a month New York City apartment, sits at the end of the bar. No, this is not a scale model. The refrigerator door slams closed. The thug in the bar casts a suspicious eye at you, which sails past you and goes rolling onto the floor. And then the poor eyeball rolls out of the door. The thug immediately walks over, opens the fridge, and sees 2 kidneys, just as he remembered it. He turns to look at you again, his face twisted by confusion since he doesn't understand what's going on, but after a moment of deliberation, he shrugs and goes back to his loafing. The thug, miraculously still aware of your membership in the organization, doesn't even acknowledge you as you strut into the lounge and pull open the refrigerator door. Take this kidney. Take the kidney out, eat the kidney, and under cover of the open fridge, slip it into your open shirt. Closing the fridge, you attempt to stroll nonchalantly out of the thug's lounge with the big sloshing jar pinned between your arm and your side. The thug in the bar casts a suspicious eye at you, which sails past, etc., etc., then the poor eyeball, etc., etc. The thug immediately walks over and opens the fridge and announces a sudden 50% drop in iced kidneys. The thug by the door grabs you as you sneak by.
Yo, you trying to steal one of our stolen organs?
As he shakes you, the sloshing sound grows very loud, and finally the thug hears it. He reaches into your collar, pulls the bottle out with his right hand, and with his left hand shoves you across the floor. You stand to tuck in your shirt and inspect a number of scrapes. The thug returns the kidney to the refrigerator and goes back to his post. The thug looks at Alfie's beanie stupidly and turns back to his quiet contemplation. You either bored him or confused him.
The organization, how may I direct your call? Arch Nemesis? Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Nemesis is no longer with us. I'm afraid I can't tell you that, sir, but I do show this as a permanent retirement.
You pick up the bottled kidney and shake it. It sloshes and clinks merrily, little bits of kidney floating about in the muck. Carefully, you replace the bottle on the refrigerator shelf. The refrigerator door slams closed. You don't think you could eat that whole thing, and if you can't finish it, don't start it. It looks like a human kidney with a maze of twisty little veins all alike.
Yeah? Nope. Don't skip.
This is the up button, so the higher-ups of the lower echelons can get to the higher floors.
Organization front desk. Cat burglary? Yes, we can handle that. Yes, we can arrange for catering. I'll put you through to reservations. Thank you, ma'am. Please hold.
I'm only saying this once. You are not going up there with what you got. Hey, you. Yeah, you with a Christ complex. You can't go up there. I'm not gonna tell you again. I'm still gonna need a henchman license, or better. And don't make me have to repeat myself. I really don't like that. I don't know if I mentioned this, but you are not going upstairs without something better than a dinky thug's license.
You're just a thug, aren't you?
Yeah.
So your thug's license is dinky.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, what are you trying to pull?
Not your dinky. I mean your leg. Do you have to be privately tutored to be this thick?
No. I'm on steroids. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Hey, you. Yeah, you with a Christ complex. You can't go up there.
I'm not trying to go up.
Licensing. Yes, you do need certification for office pools. I'll be happy to send you an application. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
This is the down button, so the higher-ups of the lower echelons can get to the lower floors to get high.
You may be starting to irritate me. You can't get upstairs.
You push a few buttons at random on the keypad, but you don't even know how many numbers there are in the code. Not surprisingly, the elevator fails to make an appearance.
Yes.
How do I get upstairs?
Practice.
Yay!
When do my classes start?
The new catalog of classes will be out next week. You'll want to stop by then. And if you need any voyatrazine, the gift shop will be open tomorrow morning from 8 till 12.
I lost my card. May I have another?
She gazes piercingly at you for a moment.
Oh, you can't fool me, Mr. Stonebender. But I can't blame a guy for trying. What do you want with two of them anyway?
Spare? For the car? I don't know.
If you ever really lose it, come back to me, and I'll see that you get another one.
I just wanted to tell you, you're a pleasure to work with.
Why, thank you. That means a lot coming from a guileless, affable thug like yourself. Yes, isn't it? Ambusher and Killingham, may I help you? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. The National Rifle Association, the Batter Business Bureau, and the Center for Silencers in the Public Interest. You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Oh, surprise him with it. You stroll into the lounge for a few minutes, and the thug at the entrance didn't even bother to stop you again. Not much is happening in the lounge. The TV's off, the bar is unattended, except for that one suspicious guy, and the pinball machine is one game for 95 quarters. You turn around and arrive lobby where a scant few seconds later.
Talk to me.
I got my thug card.
Yeah, you got my kidney.
Nope, not yet.
Talk to me.
About voyatrazine. What exactly is it supposed to do?
Mild euphoria, heightened sensitivity, and what they like to call increased awareness of the thoughts and feelings of those you love. Of course, it works for people that hate your guts, too. You can hear every disgusting little thing they think about you, everything they'd like to do to you if they could only get their hands on you, or so I'm told.
What are the side effects?
Oh, most people do fine on it. As long as they keep taking it, no problem. Sooner or later you start developing a resistance to it, so you have to start upping the dosage. That's down the line, though. And then there's the poor slobs who are just a little too sensitive to it. They sink like rocks.
What about a cure? That's what I'm really after.
I don't think so. Supposedly the big guy once said something about coming up with a neutralizer, but I don't think there is one. Sorry about your friend. Talk to me.
About voyatrazine. Do you have any?
I'm not in the organization anymore. I don't carry. Look, Bassatros, you don't need it. You certainly don't want it.
Never mind, it's all too sordid for my virgin ears.
You got that right. Talk to...
I want to know what makes you tick.
Oh, sorry, that's Strontium-90. Bad scene that day. That's the last time I take one of those power plant tours.
No, I don't have a Geiger counter. I was asking about you. What business are you in?
I'm a psychologist.
Get out of here.
What, is that funny to you? You don't believe me? Oh, that's right, I gotta remember, back in your days, psychology was a white-collar thing, very uppity and vague, and everyone with their own theories. It's a lot more straightforward now.
Why'd you take voyatrazine?
Gotta stay competitive. My competitors can read my mind. They got a big leg up on me, pardon the expression. Talk to me.
Yeah, we're getting close to the end of it. I haven't been on for a couple of days, so, you know,
I want
we
to
didn't
know
make
what
much
makes
progress.
you tick.
Oh, sorry.
No. Do you always transact business in alleys?
Don't speak not of what you don't know, okay? Today's a special occasion. I nearly got off. So while my office gets a new window, I'm dispossessed.
That's good enough for me. Thanks for the info.
Hey, you ain't scratched my surface. I'm a deep guy. A hell of a lot deeper than you.
Yeah, deep down I'm a very shallow guy.
I know, I can tell.
And I'm trying to convince you the same thing.
Talk to me.
About the guy upstairs.
I'm supposed to be doing business, not discussing theology.
I mean the guy.
Oh? What?
Where can I find the doc guy?
He's on the top floor of the Underworld Center. He's got a private lab up there. You can't get up there without the passcode, though. Only a few of his best friends know the code, like me.
I thought you had a falling out with him.
Are you kidding? He loves me. Do anything for me. No, it's some of the people lower down. They're jealous of how close I am to him. It's sad, really. Who's asking?
Stonebender. Jake Stonebender.
Rat says Puka. Excuse me a second.
And I am in the wrong
I
dialogue
don't
segment.
get... I know. But why?
You go ahead.
It just jumped back to his other conversation.
About... I mean the...
Oh.
Didn't he invent Voyatrazine?
V, yes.
Never mind.
You got...
Ah, if it isn't the shakiest thug in the West,
Forgive me, I'm basically a nice person.
then get out of that line of work. If I'm going to put my life into someone's hands, I'd like them to at least be competent.
Why not give me some of that money you owe the organization now? Maybe I get extra credit.
First of all, you'd have no intention of turning in that money, and I'd end up having to pay it all over again. Second of all, I already told you I'd have it tomorrow. Now enough already. And don't make me have me warn myself for you again.
I'm a little afraid to say this, but I'm hungry.
Well, we have some leftovers from lunch if you'd like something. Suppose it doesn't hurt to keep your wheels greased. If I recall, we have some salmon croquettes, some haggis, some snake and kidney pie. And for dessert, we have several flavors of gigolo and some very nice crème brûlée.
Make mine skank and kidney pie, please.
An interesting choice, sir.
Perry disappears into the restaurant for a moment and comes out with a jar containing a kidney.
I was mistaken. We have a leftover kidney, but the chef says we are not going to cut up our 20-foot anaconda just for one slice of pie.
He hands the jar to you. It has a large, human-like kidney floating in it.
Is this a human kidney?
What do you care? It's free.
If it's all the same to you, maybe I'll have this later.
That's what I figured, so I put it into a to-go jar.
Well, so I now have another kidney. Yeah. You take the kidney and, under the cover of the open fridge, slip it into your shirt, cleverly putting the one Perry gave you in its place. You stroll nonchalantly out of the thug's lounge. The thug at the bar watches you with curiosity and immediately opens the refrigerator. He's definitely taken aback when he sees two kidneys, but then he thinks you must be using the same tactic they use. He sits back down and you emerge victorious.
Organization, Congress. No, I'm sorry, they didn't come in today. May I take a message? No, it's not looking very likely for tomorrow either. Certainly. Yes, okay. You're welcome.
Okay, Rat's ass, I got your fucking kidney. Rat's ass takes the kidney and unshakes it.
So far, so good.
He opens the jar and dumps the kidney into his hand. Turning it over, he checks the serial number engraved on the bottom.
All right, nice going, Ace.
Rat's ass plops the kidney back in the jar and wipes his hands on the back of his pants. The goo beads up and runs off.
So here's what you want to know. The code for Dr. Duplicitus's elevator is 382-582-532. Here's how you remember it. Muffin, love, and lemon. Just remember muffin, love, and lemon.
How does that help me remember anything?
It's easy. 2 is N. 3 is M. 5 is L. 8 is F or V. Ignore the vowels. So you have...
You take your pencil and write the number on the back of the recipe. Thank you.
Don't mention it. You know, don't kid him about his hair. He's very sensitive.
I wouldn't have anyway.
Okay. You punch the code Rat's ass gave you into the keypad, and you hear the elevator whir to life. When the elevator arrives, you swagger into it and turn to see the thug gaping at you. The doors close, and the elevator begins to ascend automatically. After a minute, it stops and disgorges you into the laboratory. In the center of the room, in the center of this clean, busy laboratory is a tank large enough for 3 or 4 people, or if engineered by Swish's race, maybe part of your foot. The room is humming with activity, with all manner of mysterious chemical reaction, computation, preservation, and experimentation going on. Everyone is too busy to notice the arrival of you and your thought patterns. Excuse me.
I'm working.
I gathered.
Pardon me, I'm looking for the doctor.
The doctor is tanking.
Pardon me?
He's in the think tank. That little honey right over there.
He gestures towards the Biochambre 4000 in front of him. You're tanking? Which raid are you running? That's the first thing that came to my mind.
What are you working on?
I'm maintaining the precise balance of environmental variables for optimal theta brainwave state, or any other state desired.
And what's everyone else working on?
Better living through chemistry.
I have a friend who's having a critical reaction to voyatrazine. I'm looking for an antidote.
That's too bad. There's no such chemical.
I've been told there's no Dr. Duplicitous either.
Cecil clenches his jaw but refuses to respond.
Thanks for all the info.
He turns back to his work. The elevator door closes. A man who looks like a Cecil to you stands working in front of a control panel. Just lovely. Which office clown put the fetal iguana in the water cooler? With some difficulty, you manage to get the top of the bottle off and are sealed by a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work. Your fetal iguana at home is vastly superior to this one. Your years of high school science and math finally pay off big time as you fully recognize several of the symbols among the hundreds on the blackboard. You don't remember their specific meanings, but you do remember them. You swing the blackboard out a few inches, enough to see that the board behind this one has been erased. You walk up to the board and begin to erase it with your sleeve, but you shortly realize you'll be covered with chalk dust before you're half through. You tug on the blackboard, but it's locked into place. This looks like your average mainframe with seamless shared memory scalability to large processor and I/O configurations, high bandwidth, low latency clustering, RAID 12 disk array, 640GB ECC protected memory, redundant hot plug CPU, and I/O with dynamic reconfiguration. And look, it has a price tag on it. Why, this is a stolen mainframe. Wow, the days when 64 gig was the future. See what happens when you overuse the sea monkey growth hormones that come in one of those tiny packets? You open the bottle and the mutant sea monkey climbs out. First he grabs a flashlight and makes you follow it all around the room like a circus act. Then he sprinkles food on you and watches you eat. Then he gives you something to make you glow in the dark. When he's tired of you, he flushes you down the toilet. Wow, what a nightmare. Don't stand close to the bottle. Too close to the bottle. You're breathing too many heavy fumes, man. You don't like sea monkeys. You can never resist telling them that they're only brine shrimp, and that destroys their happy-go-lucky self-image.
What is this?
That's on a need-to-know basis only. So tell me you're a criminal mastermind so I can tell you about this. It's a very exciting piece of machinery, very powerful, very, very exciting technology here, but it's very secret, and up till now has only been available to a precious few. Say you're a criminal mastermind. Say it.
I'm a criminal mastermind.
Terrific. We call this Le Biochambre 4000, the state-of-the-art solution for twisted geniuses like you, who may just not be feeling as diabolical as you used to. Maybe you let yourself go. Maybe you're just exhausted. There's a million ways it can happen. But with Le Biochambre, you can achieve the perfect atmosphere for villainous thought. The kind masterminds need to keep pulling off crimes of the century. It's this easy. You program in any set of audio, nasal, and ambient tactual environmental variables. Then you push the button and voila, what we call the complete Biochambre experience.
Does it have any visual capabilities?
Does it have any visual? Look, we don't call this the greatest little isolation tank ever made for nothing. It projects a non-interactive, composited holographic 360-degree image around the inner lenticular circumference, simulating any environment, any time period, anywhere in your home. And you can get the sensation of moving through the world with on-the-fly, fully digital scenery generation. None of that rendered crap. You can also select from an infinite variety of weather conditions, barometric, hydrostatic, gravitational. Hey, it's all there. And even my 10-year-old daughter at home can use it. Isn't that incredible? What would you pay for something like this?
I don't think I could afford it.
And if that wasn't enough, listen to this. Every smell currently cataloged by the NSB is reproduced in seconds with a continuous online automated time-slicing microlab capable of producing up to 12 complex smells simultaneously. Now, how much would you pay?
Not interested.
Of course you're not, if that was all. Order one of these now, and we'll include 2 bottles of La Biochambra 4000 SF polish, specially formulated to keep your La Biochambra looking clean and high-tech. 2 free bottles. Okay, 3 free bottles. Let me tell you the number to call.
I appreciate it, but this was more information than I needed. A lot more.
You somehow manage to detach yourself from the exuberant research salesman and edge away. Realizing he's not about to close a quick sale, he turns his attention back to the control console. A slender built-in console faces the Biochambra.
I'm very sorry. I'm running the La Biochambra 4000 at the moment.
Who's inside?
That's privileged information. But I am going to tell you how you can make $25,000 your first week in real estate just by breaking these 5 simple laws.
That's okay. I've already made my fortune. I'm retired now.
The Biochambra's hermetically sealed hatch is tightly closed, no doubt sealing some antisocial hermit inside. He's probably playing Warcraft then. You pull on the door, but your efforts are ineffectual in light of the vault-like strength of La Biochambra's door. Your knuckles thud wussily against the case-hardened steel door. A precarious tangle of beakers, retorts, flasks, and other lab equipment stands confusingly on the lab table. You're a poor conductor. This is something. You undo one of the stoppers, and liquid begins to back up and pour out over your hand. You quickly restopper the flask and wipe your hand off onto your pant leg, which you hope will suddenly not be eaten through. It's an assistant. The assistant ignores you. That looks all the world like a xenomorph. According to the tiny little label just below the bottle, they're cloning another one of Charles Bronson's hairpieces. Charles Branson? Who the hell's Charles Branson? The last time one of these things got loose, there was another Death Wish movie. Let's not let that happen again, okay? Looks like they want to remake Death Wish, so... Without the life support provided by this cloning tank, this hairpiece would curl up and die. T-Y-E, oh god. Head thud. Hey, wouldn't that be a terrific name for a hair salon? And most likely nobody's ever thought of it before. This is a series of refrigerated enclosures containing valuable, unstable chemicals, no doubt belonging to the valuable... unstable Dr. Duplicitous. You try to open each of the freezer doors, but powerful magnetic locks are holding them closed. Whatever it takes to unlock these components, you don't have. You bring your mouth an inch from the glass and breathe hard on it. It just fogs up and immediately clears again, not even leaving you enough time to write "just say no" in the foggy area. Yeah, I'm Yanni all of a sudden, and I don't mean the guy who plays the pan flute or whatever Yanni was. Who the fuck was Yanni? I'm thinking of Zamfir. Zamfir, the master of the pan flute. It's still an assistant. The assistant ignores you again. A confusing tangle of retorts, beakers, flasks, and other lab equipment. Yes, you're You're scarcely qualified. You're only a thug. You said about disassembling the experiment, but the way it's been interconnected leads you to believe that if you take anything out, the rest of it will come crashing down around you. The cabinets offer ample storage space for the scientist who loves to spend time in the lab, and the brushed aluminum veneer hides his pesky fingerprints and flesh-eating bacteria smears. Any advantage you might get from hiding would be offset by the noise you'd make from sitting on broken glass and shards of metal. The cabinet has nothing but some cracked beakers, dirty flasks, fused and melted Bunsen burner chunks, and assorted lab crunchies. Lab crunchies. This cabinet contains some flasks and beakers with scaly built-up stains and furry stuff in the bottoms. None of it looks safe to handle, although some of it looks like it could crawl out under its own power. You begin to climb into the cabinet when your foot slides in something wet and thick. This causes you to hesitate to place your whole body inside. The wet, thick stuff pushes back on your foot, solidifying your decision not to hide in this cabinet. These major conduits provide general atmosphere to the private biochamber.
I never thought I'd be in a situation where I'd find myself saying, damn, I left the cutting torch on the satellite. But I guess the time has come.
No, you couldn't have taken it with you, even if you'd wanted to.
Keep away from that.
I just want to touch it, that's all.
Well, okay. But don't try any other verbs on it.
Fair enough.
You touch the conduit very quickly at first, in case it's hot enough to burn you or cold enough to freeze you. Anticlimactically, it's room temperature. You feel a slight vibration, though, as if something is flowing through it, but under heavy insulation. A grotesque mass of flesh bobs slowly in the pungent-smelling amber fluid. Wouldn't disturb you so much if it didn't get that come-hither look every time you get close to the bottle. Ew. Sure, you open the thing in a bottle, and the next thing you know, you're in a county hospital of the future with half your face sucked off in a bowl full of soylent jello in front of you. Now with this CD-ROM, you don't. No way. You got a lava lamp at home. You don't need any more unique lighting. There are a number of square control panels mounted on the wall. You suspect that they control the tanks, and given the malevolent appearance of the tank's occupants, you decide not to toy with them. He's playing that peg jumping game where, you know, you set the triangle up and you jump them over each other until there's only one left, except he's really not very good at it. This looks like something you'd see at a carnival sideshow or maybe in a hospital cafeteria. The bolus quivers as you approach the tank. You back away from the tank, quivering a little yourself. The last time you played hide the bolus was in grade school. It's not nearly as much fun now that you're grown up. Whoa. You're like stiff and shit. It's an assistant. And he ignores you, just like all the others have. You saw something like this served at Casimir's. It ordered a beer. You try to unscrew the top, but the thing in the bottle deliberately holds it shut, making it smarter than you are. You're not nearly thirsty enough. A tangled confusion of beakers, flasks, retorts, and other lab equipment precariously stands on the lab table. Hi, Red. Right, Red. Rolf, boo-boo. You'd better resist your base instincts. You don't know your acid from a hole in the ground. You are indeed red, sir. Your text is even red. That's fantastic. You begin to attach one of the retorts, and a drop of acid spills on the tabletop and begins to eat through the metal. You hurriedly reassemble it before doing any more damage. This guy just picks up a beaker that magically refills itself and then sprays into the air. And that is an Erlenmeyer flask. How do I remember that? Because it's not a Florence flask, because Florence has a nice round bottom. Boy, the things I remember from high school chemistry. The cabinets offer ample, same description as before. All this cabinet contains is a flask with a towelette stuck in it. You try to do your best Richie Petrie impersonation, but the old flexibility just isn't there anymore. It smells okay to you, but then again, you're not sure what radioactivity smells like. From the imprint on the little towel, you can see that it's a Wipe and Survive isotape absorbent towelette. There were actually no delays today. I started before I forgot to actually fix the stream text from yesterday, the title. We were delayed. We were supposed to be on yesterday, and yeah, it didn't work out that way. You pull the towelette out of the flask. Another one doesn't pop up. From the imprint on the little towel, you can see it's a Wipe and Survive isotope absorbent towelette. Interesting. Okay. The blackboard is chock-a-block with high-level differential calculus. If you were to erase this blackboard, it would be because you fear what you cannot understand, and since you'd hate to have to admit that about yourself, you restrain your destructive impulses.
Hey, there'll be no blackboard sliding on my watch, mister.
There's a faded label on the side of the jar that says property of Smithsonian Institution and another one below it that says in hand-lettered script, J. Dillinger. No, 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 no. You don't want to go there. You already have one, and yours still works. For those who don't know, there's an urban legend, and has been for a long time, that Dillinger's incredibly massive penis was severed during the shootout that killed him, and the Smithsonian Institute has it in a jar. Good Shia LaBeouf impression? You mean you throwing up? No, don't undo. No, fine. No, 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 no.
Why do you persist in interrupting my work?
Because it's fun.
What are you working on?
I'm maintaining the
And what's
better.
Thanks for all.
See you when you get back, brother. You turn the beanie on and aim it at Cecil. In his eyes, you see the beanie's light strobing and sparkling.
What do you think you're doing?
Hypnotizing you.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I want you to focus on my voice.
Yes.
You are now hypnotized.
Yes.
You are familiar with hypnosis. You already know that just because you're under hypnosis, I can't make you do or say anything that you don't want to.
Yes.
Well, I want you to forget that you know that.
Okay.
Woohoo! I have a hypnotized researcher.
Yes.
Listen to me carefully. I want you to open the biochamber door.
I can't do that.
Yes, you can. As I count to 3, you will find yourself more and more willing to open the biochamber door. 1. You are beginning to feel confident that you can open the biochamber door. 2. You're picturing the biochamber door open, what it will be like when you get through opening it. 3. You are now completely able to open the biochamber.
No, I'm not.
Why do you think you can't?
The doctor left very strict orders. I'm afraid he would kill me if I opened the door.
That is strict.
That is relatively strict. Pardon me for a second, cleaning schmutz off my glasses.
Tell me, is there any such thing as an antidote to voyatrazine?
Cecil remains silent.
Can you hear me? I want you to tell me if there is a cure or antidote for voyatrazine.
I can't tell you.
Why can't you tell me?
Cecil winces as if thinking of the answer is causing him physical pain. You surmise that Cecil has already been programmed through hypnosis to be unable to speak on the subject. That could be construed as evidence that there does indeed exist a cure. You'll have to settle for that slender evidence because this line of questioning isn't leading anywhere.
Stand there very quietly. Don't get in my way and don't make any noise.
He obeys your request flawlessly. A slender-built console faces the biochamber. With Cecil's suggestibility turned up to full and his will turned down to a minimum, he's putty in your hands. You walk right by him and take control of the biochamber 4000. Judging from the lack of response, you haven't done anything to the biochamber. Headphones are acting up again. As the biochamber door hisses open, a man steps out. That was actually an easier puzzle than it looked. It's a combination of colors on the buttons. Red to pink, pink to purple, purple to brown.
You interrupted me. You are Jake Stonebender, and oh, you've come a long way for nothing. And the sniveling little two-bit thief who provided you with my elevator code is going to be a very sorry little man.
It's Dr. Duplicitous in all his megalomaniacal glory. His eyes are the bright, glistening eyes of a madman, and he's obviously got the clearest possible symptom of demented genius. Or haven't you heard about the latest findings on male pattern baldness?
What should I do with you, Jake Stonebender?
What do you mean, what you're going to do with me?
I'm not comfortable allowing you to leave. You represent an ethic that has more or less ceased to be here. Allowing you in the organization, or even in this time period at all, would be disruptive. You'd infect the society like a computer virus.
Oh, God, I wish Noah were here to hear you say that.
So, I'm left wondering, do I just harvest you? Lobotomize you? Take your time machine and see what I can do with it? I don't even think it's safe to let you go back home. Too much advanced publicity would probably not be beneficial. It's an interesting dilemma I find myself in.
Oh, you're Dr. Duplicitous? I must have the wrong one.
You're scared. I like that in a toady. What should I do?
I'll make a deal with you. Are you listening?
I didn't get to where I am by ignoring deals out of hand. What exactly do you have in mind?
Yes, what?
I don't have much, but if you give me an antidote for voyatrazine for Al, and let me go back and give it to him, you can take his time sled. I'm sure he'd rather get out of this with his life than not at all.
First of all, I could have your time sled in a moment if I wanted it. And I do. But there's no such drug as the one you're looking for. So I'm afraid we don't have a deal. What should I...
I have great admiration for you, and I bow to your vast intellect and generosity.
Why would you try to lie to me of all people? Isn't that a silly thing to do?
I thought I'd get points for being cute.
Do you know how I came to invent voyatrazine?
By accident, like all great inventions?
Don't be silly. Although I did inadvertently develop a drug to make myself more resistant to humiliation, I now market it under the name Embarrassine.
To impress the chicks?
Hardly. For the girls, I invented a drug called Mypexagolden. Manipulated pheromones to make me seem 100 times more masculine than anyone else alive.
To keep from having to do real work?
That's funny. To avoid real work. Do you know how hard I work? The only thing I ever invented to help save me work was a drug that compelled others to work for me. I can't do it all.
What drug is that?
I just said, I can't do it all.
To keep the grant money coming in.
Oh, right. But I still had a greater purpose. Do you know what I wanted to destroy?
Society as a whole.
No, and not as a lot of little pieces either. No, I was trying to bring an end to hypocrisy. Surrounded by yes men. There is no greater waste of space than a person who can only parrot back my own words and tell me what he thinks I want to hear. I can tell me what I want to hear. I don't need somebody else to say it for me. Sycophants. I thought I would be doing away with deception. But it hasn't stopped at all. It's the same behavior on an entirely new level.
Maybe you can't push it on people before they're ready. I think it's a worthy goal. You tried to take a shortcut.
Don't patronize me, Stonebender. I'm not in the mood.
I don't want to play anymore.
Don't leave yet, Mr. Stonebender. I haven't figured out how to take best advantage of you. I'm not comfortable allowing you to leave. You represent an ethic.
Oh, God, I wish...
So, I don't even... It's an
Let's talk about a deal. I don't have much, but if you give me an antidote for voyatrazine for Al...
First, but...
This is the Le Biochambre 4000, right?
Biochamber 2000.
I thought it was the 4000.
Didn't sell after the year 2000. Had to make number greater. Also gave French-sounding name for added class.
The blackboard rumbles as you slide it to the right. Hey, voyatrazine neutralizer. So, whatever voyatrazine neutralizer is, it sounds like it's what you're looking for. But what's a P3?
Yes?
Get Dr. Duplicitous. Hold on to him and don't let him get away.
Cecil looks at you helplessly, pleadingly, wanting to move, but can't.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You see, Mr. Stonebender, it's a matter of will.
Putting people in a heightened state of suggestibility is hardly proof of your will. It's a parlor trick that's been around for centuries.
The doctor rolls his eyes.
You have no concept of what I can do. I'm a long way beyond parlor tricks. Nobody before has ever succeeded in doing the things I've done.
Better living through chemicals.
That's right, Cecil. Very good.
Stand there.
Step away from there. Stop trying to distract me. Tell me what you want.
As tempting as it might be to bring down the wretch permanently, hurting him, provided you were able to, might ruin your only chance to get what you need to save Alfie. Mix B1 with VN.
What should I...
What do you mean, what you're going to do with me?
I'm not comfortable allowing you to leave. You represent an ethic that has more or less ceased to be here. So, I don't... It's an...
Oh,
you... I...
Your recent experience in Manhattan has taught you that the elevator is probably descending whenever this light is lit.
Step away from there, right now. Please, put away your little toy. It may have done a number on Cecil, but it will certainly do nothing to me. Stop trying to distract me. Tell me what you want.
I don't know. What do I want? You can't turn off these computers. They recently learned to defend themselves. The blackboard references Voyatricine neutralizer and P3. Intriguing.
What should I...
Let's talk about a deal. I want the neutralizer for my friend Al. I'll give you whatever you want.
Oh, damn that blackboard. It takes a good deal of P3 to make the neutralizer, and I have none to spare. Although...
What?
I could take some from you. That would work. I like that.
What's P3?
Only one of the most important physiological finds of the last 500 years.
Ugh. I already don't like it.
P3 is a hyaline fluid exuded by the system in response to pain.
Like adrenaline?
No. Adrenaline is non-specific to a variety of stressors, most of which are physical. But P3 is only released in times of intense emotional or psychological pain. It shows up in every fluid in the human body in minute quantities. It's a black bile. It's pure yang. And it's the primary component of the Voyatricine neutralizer. So let me suggest this. I will extract P3 from you. Should you give me enough for my purposes, I will give you some neutralizer for your friend, provided you survive the extraction process.
And the process is...
I can't describe it, and personally, I've only performed the procedure. I've never actually undergone it. I like to visualize it as a squeezing of the brain, although no actual physical contact is involved, other than drawing off the P3. The greatest quantity of P3 is released into the circulatory and endocrine systems. I like to tap it off at the superior vena cava. That's also a source of some discomfort.
Dark.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Fine. Let's get started.
Let's get it started in
Right
here. Oh, okay.
John, would you administer the pre-wash?
Suddenly you feel a prick behind you. And he's got a hypodermic. He jabs it into your arm and the world spins, first around the x-axis, then around the y-axis, and then it's getting to the z-axis and everything goes black. When you come to, the first thing you notice is the coldness. The room is cold, your back is against something cold, and suddenly you realize that you're naked and lying on a metal table. Funny how danger is supposed to be romantic, though from the shrieking sensation you have down below, you're not finding this the least bit erotic.
I'm glad to see you're awake. It's always better when they start off aware of what's happening. You know, in my line of work, I meet a lot of very deluded, very sick people. But nobody with quite your brand of lunacy.
Am I a lunatic?
Yes. You believe that we're in the future.
Not exactly. You're the one. This is your present. I'm visiting. Just to help Alfie.
Yes, that's what you said. But I don't remember Alfie thinking he's from the past.
He comes back.
Right, in a time machine, the same one that got you here. Is that right?
Yes. Where's my stuff?
I took the liberty of lightening your load. You had some things that did not belong to you. Rubber bands are quite valuable these days. We shouldn't have had one out in the open. The rest of your belongings are right here. If you survive, they'll be returned to you.
And I get the antidote, right?
Yes. Now that I think of it, I do remember him saying something about the past, and I remember being somewhat in doubt as to his state of sanity. But he had cash, so I decided, why be judgmental?
If you can read my mind, you know I'm not making it up.
If you are delusional, then what I see through your eyes would be a delusion as well. But down to business. Now, I'm going to reach down and scour those billions of memories and nightmares of yours in search of the blackest, vilest little nuggets of fear I can find. The things buried so deeply that you don't even talk to yourself about them. I envision it as being inside of your mind and being surrounded by the traumas and bruises and cuts. Most of them look healed over. But when I take my fingernails and rake them over the scabs to find the ones that really haven't healed at all, the cysts hidden behind them, that's what I'm looking for. I have to pop them, drain the bile from them.
Wow.
Stop describing it and let's get it over with.
Oh,
This
but
took
the
a turn.
foreplay can be so much fun. But then again, quickies are nice too sometimes.
Okay. I appear to be in a... You suddenly feel uneven pressure on your brain as if he were trying to sink his fingers into it. A heavy metal buckle attaches 2 leather straps over the midpoint of your chest. The feeling of a hand inside your head is uncannily frightening. Instinctively, you resist, trying to harden your concentration, envisioning your mind as a taut muscle. By shaking your body, you're able to produce a merry jingle from the buckle. No matter how hard you try to whip your head down towards the buckle, all you keep doing is cracking your neck joints. In response, the hand squeezes brutally hard, and the fingertips seem to dig into sudden sponginess. You try this for all of a second before realizing you're going to sprain your tongue if you keep this up.
If I had only taken that learning annex course on flirting, I might be able to get out of here.
There now. Don't try to talk. Let's not spoil the moment.
Liquid pain, fiery and acidic, begins to puddle and ooze around his fingers. Through the swirling pain and misery, you manage to work up a good mouthful of saliva to launch at the doctor, but a fresh wave of pain washes over you as you recollect on an especially gruesome adolescent rite of passage, and you end up swallowing your spit. And it was still warm. You do your damnedest to give Dr. Duplicitous the silent treatment, but he probably doesn't notice because you're moaning and whimpering so much. He doesn't appreciate the fact that you're not moaning and whimpering at him. The more your concentration wanes, the deeper his fingers sink into your consciousness.
Please stop. Oh, God, please stop.
Oh, we've hardly begun to fill the bottle. Come on, tell me. How do you like going to the dentist?
Oh, God, no.
A root canal flashes by in your mind. Well, you won't be trying begging again if you know what's good for you.
I'll do anything. I'll tell you anything you want to know.
You call that cajoling? That sounds like wheedling to me.
It wasn't.
I'm not so sure. Maybe I can dig around a little and find out.
You can't help but think how nice it would be if he stopped. Maybe if you showed him a way you could tap some pain voluntarily.
What kind of sick person gets off on putting people through this kind of pain?
My kind of sick person. And that was not a wheedle. If anything, it was a rebuke.
Ah! Please stop. Please stop. I've had enough.
I'll stop when the bottle is full. Now, I'm starting to think that you're holding out on me. Let's drill a little deeper, shall we?
Unbidden, you vividly recall the time somebody broke into your house in the middle of the night while you were upstairs with Barbara. You're not doing a very good job at filling that bottle. How much pain does it take, anyway?
You have to stop. Please, please, a break. Just a few minutes. Just give me a few minutes.
No, not yet, Jake. We're hardly getting a trickle from you. Come on now, you're not trying. Can you say acrophobia? I think you can.
Oh, no!
You remember the first and only time you skydived.
I can take it anyway. It's down the block, in the alley across from the Park Product.
The doctor relaxes for a moment and thinks about what you've said. Finally, he speaks. Jake offered him Alfie's time machine again.
First, I want to find... You've got this little bubble of bile, see?
I know.
And, yeah, the subtitles were out of order, or the voice file was out of order. You begin to sob uncontrollably. The doctor stops what he's doing and folds his arms in that superior way he has. His expression is hidden, but his eyebrows are knit in contempt for your uncontrollable weeping. But then he decides you're beneath contempt, and shrugging, returns to milking your brain for pain. The resemblance between your brain and scrambled tofu is growing closer by the moment.
This is so odd. I'm virtually up to my elbows in your brain, and I know there's a virulent mass of pain in here somewhere, but I don't seem to be able to reach it. Open a little wider, won't you?
I know what to do. Dr. Duplicitous stops his brain-wringing process long enough to take the photo from your pile of stuff.
This? What about it?
The one I don't like to talk to myself about. The one I can't forgive myself for. The one that won't go away.
Ah. I knew you had something like that. I'll see what I can pull out about it.
Well, what if I just told you?
We can certainly try that. But if this is a delaying tactic, I'm going to be disappointed.
No, this is the real stuff.
Then by all means, tell me about it.
I had a family. This was a long time ago. This was 1970. My wife, Barbara. We had a daughter, Jessica, who was just a toddler at the time. She was the most perfect child. I mean, she was an angel. She never stopped smiling. We used to tell her, "Come on, cheer up," and then she would laugh. I was making a good living singing and playing, believe it or not, and Barbara was teaching part-time, and it was too good to be true, I guess, too good to last. I must have been out of my mind. I tried to fix. I thought I fixed the brakes on our car. I replaced the front brakes myself. Jake Stonebender, master mechanic, right? We were going to a movie, and, we were on our way, and we were at an intersection. There was a truck coming from the left, and I slammed on my homemade brakes, and, they failed. We hit the tractor trailer. I was only going a few miles over the speed limit. I had the brakes on, but they gave out. The engine block came right on through the dashboard, right between me and Barbara and Jessica, and they were on fire. I wasn't, but they were. We were all trapped, and they burned to death right beside me. I was hardly hurt, and I killed my wife and my baby girl. They had to cut us out of the car with chainsaws. I was sitting beside them, and they were so dead. I kept begging them to move. I started screaming at them finally, but they were so dead. I could see their faces, the expressions they were wearing when they burned. That was the last way they looked. I still see it. I see it so much I forget what it is I'm looking at. They were cutting me out, and when the chainsaw came near me, I thought, how can I live with this? So I climbed out the window and put my wrists up to the chainsaw.
Why didn't you kill yourself?
I tried. The guy knocked me out.
Why didn't you try again?
I did. The doctor that saved my life also saved my soul. He took me to a bar, and I guess I learned to want to live again. I'm not sure how.
That was wonderful. And just look at that bottle. Jake Stonebender, I am delighted with you. You are a mess. And I am going to keep my end of the bargain. Perhaps in a few years I'll pay you another visit. I'm sure you'll have a lot more for me by then.
Dr. Duplicitous, a cruel but fair man, unstraps you and removes the extractor from your chest. He hands you a small vial of voyatrazine neutralizer. Almost giddy with glee, he removes the bottle of P3 drained from your psyche and puts it in the laboratory freezer. You collect your belongings, and the doctor follows you down to the time sled in the alley outside. You set the coordinates to return to Callahan's, put in the next code number, throw the lever, and take another gut-twisting ride that twirls the world around you like a pinwheel. The next thing you know, you're back on the roof. The doctor stays in the sled, but you climb out.
Have you any idea what sort of a repository of misery and despair the history of mankind holds for me? How much P3 I can refine from hundreds of generations of frightened, lonely people? You, more than most, should appreciate its power. Look at what it's done for you half your life. Look at how you survived.
I think I survived in spite of my pain.
Then maybe you should think about it a little longer. In the meantime, I'm going to pay a visit to the Spanish Inquisition. The church should never have left the torture business.
He sets the date as he saw you do. You pull the recipe halfway out of your pocket, then you stop and think better of it.
What's that?
He snatches it out of your pocket and reads it.
What's this? You wanted to give me your recipe?
No,
He throws the recipe back at you and pulls the handle on the time sled.
I prefer to eat out. So long, Stonebender. Bye-bye.
You race down the ladder.
When are you gonna leave already? You wait too long, Alfie's gonna wake up again.
You hold up the neutralizer.
got what I was looking for.
You pour the little vial down Alfie's throat. A few moments later, he sputters and wakes.
That tastes terrible. What was that, anyway?
Notice anything different?
The voices. You did it.
He throws his arms around you.
A thank you will suffice.
How can I ever repay you?
You already paid.
I did?
I had to bargain a little with your friend Dr. Duplicitous. You got the cure. He got the time sled.
He what? But how could you do that?
I didn't think you had a choice.
That's not the point. A man like him with a time sled? I'm a little irresponsible. He'll destroy the world.
I wouldn't worry too much. He didn't like your recipe.
You hand him his beanie and the recipe.
He went to check out the Spanish Inquisition.
Piotr begins to say that he wouldn't have expected the Spanish Inquisition, but so do about 6 other people, and they all trail off before the words are out of their mouths.
Once he gets out of the sled, he can't start it up again.
Unless he wants to try the 10 billion combinations it'd take to find the right one.
Gonna tell us what happened, Jake?
You wait for a moment before responding to Fast Eddie's request.
I don't think so. I'm going to have to think about it myself for a while.
Fast Eddie pulls out his blackjack and offers it to you, but you decline. You're really not into the pain thing right now. You hear the sound of someone clearing his throat.
I would like to make a toast. This is the way.
Go for it.
To humor. I can go on?
The floor is still yours.
Ah, good. Exactly. My name is Parabolus, and if I did not believe I was addressing an especially open-minded group, I would not be telling you what I am about to tell you.
I'd vouch for everyone in the room myself, only I know they'd all rather vouch for themselves.
Yes, you would. I believe each of you here would. I've been following you around, and I'm amazed at the complexity and adaptability of your race. Your capacity for friendship, your capacity for self-sacrifice. Unheard of.
Me personally? You've been following me?
Yes, you. All your little sojourns this evening, to the other places and times. I belong to an organization of beings that is outside of what you take to be the universe. In fact, I don't wish to brag, but Raymond has always been one of my most interesting universes, and I had very high hopes for it. Very high.
Who's Raymond?
I'm sorry, that's you. Your universe, this universe. Raymond is its name. In our language, roughly translated, it means big mistake.
What do you mean you had high hopes for it?
It's clear what that means. This project is due for termination. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
What are you saying? He's saying they're getting rid of us, if you'll believe it.
It's nothing personal. It's a damn budget decision is what it is. But I'm thinking that humor might be what I need to convince the board that this universe has latched onto something of infinitely redeeming value. And that could save it.
You mean, tell them a joke?
No. That's not how it works. See, there are several of us, each maintaining a number of universes. Each universe is created with, well, your closest analogy would be a computer program, I suppose. We assign vast, unique combination of traits to each universe, seeding it with the raw materials necessary to foster some sort of development. Or that's the idea, at any rate. Now, wherever life develops in some form, new traits are constantly developed at a staggering pace. Once in a great while, one of these traits will emerge as valuable enough to disseminate elsewhere, to perpetuate it in other universes, perhaps even to make it a part of the plane of existence we inhabit. I have never seen humor before. I would never have imagined it could display such a multiplicity of purposes. You simultaneously amuse and torment each other with it, which I still do not understand. Its efficacy as a painkiller is phenomenal. It softens negativity, and it produces laughter, a remarkable medicine that restores you both spiritually and physically in very subtle ways. Your humor, your concept of friendship, you have a lot of potential saving graces. You must be presented to the board. Of course, that will mean getting you out of this universe and... okay. I've got it.
He directs his gaze at you.
Meet me in my office. And everybody, the next round is on me.
Parabolus?
He's gone.
But look at what he left.
Mike indicates a bottle now sitting on the bar, a bottle that definitely wasn't there before. He also picks up a crystal shot glass. Everyone in the bar seems to have one now, including you. You lift the bottle from the bar. It's feather light, which makes it seem insubstantial, but weight aside, it feels like cool, thick glass. The contents slosh around in slow motion, not quite lava lamp slow, but definitely ocean in a bottle slow. You first pour yourself a shot from the crystal bottle, then you do the same for everyone else. The last drop out of the bottle fills the last crystal shot glass perfectly.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Shall we?
By all means.
That was one. Everyone downs their shot. The liquid goes down like a bullet, and it hits your stomach so quickly and strongly that at first you think it's causing physical damage. But then the warmth begins to spread. No, this definitely isn't melon liqueur. It's shooting roots below your stomach and branches above, tendrils of comfortably numbing warmth that envelop your entire body within 10 seconds. Hands are overrated. Hey! Let's reuse that beautiful bean footage. Noah is the first to fling his glass into the fireplace, except we saw Mercury do it first. Everyone else quickly follows suit. The entire bar, or maybe just your brain, takes a sudden violent lurch. In the same split second, a piercing bolt of bluish-white light fills the room, or maybe just your brain, and then evaporates like the light from a flashbulb. The atmosphere in the room turns heavy and depressive, the feeling of an impending thunderstorm.
What the hell was that?
Everybody all right?
We're moving very slightly. I can feel the bar rocking.
So, we all going?
Where?
Out. There, wherever we're supposed to go.
You believe that guy?
I do now.
I do too. Me too. That was not a figment of his imagination.
And you really want to go out there?
Yeah. I mean, why not? I can't believe where I've been tonight. So what's one more hike, just because this one is as implausible as all the others put together?
I want you to know that I take that implausible crack personally.
So do I.
Me too.
Me too.
You all take crack personally?
Anyway, I figure I'm hot right now, so I think I'm going to walk out that door. Anyone who wants to come with me is welcome to join me.
I'll come. Why should you get all the glory?
I'll come. I could use a walk.
Mike, you're coming, right?
But Mike just grins at you and goes back to tending bar. Almost everyone seems in more of a party mood than ever.
If you want my situation, I'm a nighttime man, catching everything I can. Want my reputation.
You open the door and step out into, well, you're not quite sure what or where you're stepping into. It's a familiar feeling. You and Josie are the first to walk out the door, and your rubbernecking prompts impatient catcalls from Noah, Piotr, and Alfie. Catcalls are against Ralph's religion. Awestruck, you wander out into an infinite landscape of living light that gives the Aurora Borealis Venus envy. Parabolas has cut things just a little closely, forcing you to move single file along the fragment of parking lot that still clings to the bar. A few feet out, you turn to see Callahan's, set against a vast light show and flanked by a behemoth ruin.
Jesus, where are we? If anybody wants to say, Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, I'll let them get away with it. This time only.
What is this miasma?
No, I don't think bronchial spasms alone could explain all this.
Wow, man. I got a six-pack. Massive, flat-topped blocks of rock hang motionless in the utterly still air. The shifting clouds of color are so intense that you find yourself worrying if you'll end up going blind like most of the world's population did after viewing that meteor shower in Day of the Triffids. Parts of the structure are indistinct and fluid as if they were swimming in and out of existence. It might be hundreds of steps, or it might be less than 100, it's hard to tell. All you know is that there are way too many and that you don't want to have to count them. This guy's giving you a big enough headache as it is. Counting steps will only make things worse. One by one, over the course of the next 15 minutes, you and your motley crew reaches the top of the steps. Josie gets there ahead of everyone and mocks the rest of you just slightly. Noah is the most affected by the climb and immediately sits on the top couple of steps. He sticks a cigarette in his mouth and lights it, all in one fluid economical motion. His friend's concerned disapproval burns his back. Despite the vibrantly shifting sky, there's no wind to blow out his lighter, no discernible movement of air at all. The smoke Noah exhales hangs immediately in front of him, refusing to either drift or disperse, suspended like fruit cocktail in jello. You can sense Noah's confusion better than you can sense your own. Ralph trots a short distance from the clouds and sits, panting, facing Callahan's. A tiny whine escapes from his throat. The deep disturbance he feels at the complete lack of any scent in the atmosphere is almost palpable. Maybe it's just the occasion mixed one-to-one with your bottomless exhaustion, but you suddenly realize that you're sensing what everyone else is feeling, and that they're all discovering the same sensations within themselves. The rise and falls of everyone's breathing synchronizes. You form in your mind a comment about Siamese septuplets, but before you can voice it, everyone hears it coming. The sensation evaporates almost instantaneously, leaving behind an equilibrium you weren't even aware was lacking. Each of you absorbed a little of all the other's most acute emotions: Alfie's agitation, Ralph's olfactory unease, the professor and Marianne, and your own weary excitement.
Well, somebody just shoot us up with psychic Prozac?
That was the real stuff.
Massive gnosis?
Isn't that redundant?
It's this place.
Yeah, what about this place anyway?
You get to your feet and explore the ruin. Walking from one end to the other, you come across a single corridor leading away from the center point of the facade. The knob has no give whatsoever, as if it's only there for show. Not only is there no answer, but the door itself doesn't sound as if there's a hollow space behind it. The knob seems to be for decorative purposes only. Oh God, I'm in Silent Hill! You knock 3 times, but no one meets you in the hallway. The brass plate on this door reads Thief. The brass plate on this door says Toothpick. This door says.
What kind of names are these?
I don't think they're names.
If they aren't names, what are they? The plaque on the door reads Airy. Don't try it if you haven't knocked it. Don't knock it if you haven't tried it. The door won't open and the knob won't turn. It won't even rattle. It sounds like you're knocking on solid wood, not on a door. Nobody responds. The name on the door is Mime.
There better not be a mime back there.
This appears to be the hallway of an old office building, hundreds of feet long, with a very shaky grip on existence. As you walk down it, you can't help but feel a little bit like a prisoner walking the last mile. The thin carpeting with the repetitive pattern may not be much to look at, but it's absorbing 100% of the sound your feet make, and you feel like you're walking on 6-inch Broyhill shag. No static. Interesting atmosphere they have here. You find no stray debris anywhere on the vast carpet. The edges of the carpet are smoothly integrated into the floor itself. Deep. The single word 1 is inscribed on the plaque mounted on the door. If these aren't names...
How does he expect us to find him?
We still haven't tried every door.
Yeah, but he could have said to his last door on the right or something.
He's gotten a lot of cheap thrills out of watching Jake jump through hoops tonight. I think he gets off on it. He likes to see us rack our little brains for his entertainment pleasure.
Hanging on the door is a brass plaque that says Best. Several more doors are half formed out of this crimmering mist, but there's nothing readable on them. The brass plaque on the door says Other.
Oh, I think it's a code.
Everyone turns to look at Al.
Well, it's what I'd do.
Toothpick thief. 1 Best says airy. Mime Other. That's not very helpful. You knock on the door. You knock on that door. There's no answer and no reverberation. The knob refuses to budge. The knob won't turn. The door seems to be a solid part of the surrounding wall. You knock, then pound on the door. You get no, then no answer. From all around you, you hear a disembodied voice say, "That's a good start." The whole doorknob thing is a sham. You knock on the door with mixed results. The knocking part goes fine. The follow-up is anticlimactic. Mime, huh? You knock on the door. You knock on the door. Okay, so there's a puzzle in here, but fuck me with a duck made out of cheese whiz if I get what it is. Knock on the door, uh-huh.
It has to do with the sounds of the names.
Alfie rolls his eyes. Everyone else looks at each other's brows furrowed. Okay, so they're throwing me hints after a little while. Wait. But 1 Best thief's toothpick says airy mime Other? How the hell do you get sounds of the names out of that? That's a good start.
Okay, Piotr.
I'll give you an...
Oh, God.
Let's say you had no idea which door in the world to pick. How might you go about picking it?
Spin the bottle.
I suppose.
Flip a coin.
Maybe.
Eeny, meeny.
Yes.
So if that's a good start, Mimey. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Wow, this one's flying over my head. It's leaving contrails. Oh, good God, it's a syllable pun. Fuck. It's a... Oh, I hate when they're so obvious. Mime. Where is it? Other says toothpick thief airy best one. My mother says to pick the very best one. You knock on the open door.
Come on in. Very good, very good. Come in.
Nice office.
That's exactly correct. I mean, it's my first attempt at a nice office.
Do you mind if I ask what I might expect to pay if I wanted to rent, say, a small office in the area?
No, this is just something I threw together because I hoped you were coming. A semi-illusionary interface between my world and the one you exist in.
It's a little hazy.
Well, I'm a little hazy. I didn't remember all the details. I didn't spend much time on your little ball there. But should be a safe environment for you. I checked for holes in the floor, and I made sure not to have any... What is it you people worry about? Tropical oils in the atmosphere?
That's very close. Thank you for trying.
I trust your trip went smoothly. The anesthetic. Good stuff, eh?
The bottle.
Yes, my private label. Well, the board is meeting, so now that you're here, I have a few more notes to go over, and we can go in.
Go in where? You're going to tell us where we are?
Right. You're outside of your universe. That's it in the display case over there, top left. And you're coming with me to convince the board not to cut your funding. Your universe, like my other universes over there, and like the ones we all create here, are funded by the Cosmic Endowment. Now, the endowment's being cut, and we're, well, having to tighten the old belt on things like matter and energy. Actually, the matter doesn't matter. It's the energy that's really the matter. So they'll just pull out the plug and your stars will go out.
We'll freeze to death.
Could be. See, about the time they cut off the power, they usually cut the time.
Oop, that was the wrong button. Am I wrong, or is that a copy of Civilization 2? You walk around the desk and pick up the box. It looks like a game called Sim Universe. Yeah, but that's a Civ 2 box. Inside the box, you find a thick troubleshooting manual, a list of other products from the same company, and a warranty card that hasn't been filled out. Don't you make the same mistake. Fill out and send in your Callahan's Crosstime Saloon warranty card. No! It's the only way you can flood your mailbox with our unique brand of classy stuff. Boy, that would be great if, I actually owned this game. Even if you were to take the chance of making an enemy out of Parabolas by stealing things off his desk, the box doesn't contain the diskettes.
What's the antique stock ticker for?
Well, what we do here is just a little complicated for your little minds to wrap around. But I think it's closest to what you think of as the stock market. We buy and sell all the countless aspects of existence, invest them in various universes, and attempt to cultivate new aspects and new connections. The trouble is, we haven't found anything exciting for eons. No matter how we combine these aspects and cross-pollinate, the same basic themes emerge to some degree on every plane of existence. No mutant concepts, so to speak. And thus, till I found you, that is.
The monogrammed P leads you to conclude that this is Parabolus's briefcase. You open the briefcase and begin to look inside of it. Parabolus gives you a look. As he's not really used to having a face, the look comes out a little cockeyed like a very surprised rabbit. You correctly anticipate that Parabolus was attempting and failing miserably to give you a look of displeasure or disappointment. Rather than incur his wrath, you stop pawing through his briefcase and replace it on the floor.
Thank you. That was the response I was hoping for. Was that a withering look? Suave and coolly condescending?
That's exactly correct.
Perfect.
A familiar symbol on the CPU identifies this as a do-it-backward 166 MHz Pentium. Back on Earth, this is the only system that has an extra key on the keyboard for automatically dialing tech support. Funny, I would have gone with Packet with Hell. Hewlett-Packard wasn't that bad. Packard-Bell was the sucker ass.
That's a handsome lamp. Brass?
No, it's pure dialectical materialism, but the finish makes it look like brass.
You go to turn on the lamp, but you can find no switch.
I don't see the lamp switch.
It doesn't switch. It stays a lamp.
How do you turn the light on?
The light?
Never mind.
Careful, please don't. That's my stock software.
Carr and I could go on for hours about Packard Bell, having owned them back in the day. But we're not going to. They still exist. Packard Bell hasn't gone anywhere. They just don't sell in the U.S. They lost their they closed all their U.S. facilities. They sell quite a bit in East Asia and some in the United Kingdom.
This is a ficus.
Very close. That's actually a fracas.
Fracas?
Yes. Gingrinich and I have been quarreling for years, and the argument's just been getting bigger and bigger. It stems from our root philosophical disagreement. I like to err on the side of curiosity. He likes to err on the side of caution. He's got seniority, though, so the board lends him more credence.
I love credence.
Yes. So does he.
Everybody loves credence, man. Now everybody dies. And Dan Aykroyd killed you. Yay, Dan Aykroyd. I love that movie. No dogs come running up to you. I don't know why I blew that all of a sudden, but I did. Parabolus has pages of printouts in front of him, but every time you try to look at them, he hides them with his arm.
Just give me a few more minutes.
How old is this bonsai tree?
I'm sorry, that question really doesn't make any sense. I don't know how you say this. Objects not drawn to scale? Actual appearance may vary? Simulated picture? Serving suggestion.
I get it, so there's no bonsai tree here.
Right. But there is a living spirit in my realm that corresponds to that bonsai. Just as there is a means of information manipulation in my reality that corresponds to that computer. And an area that exists purely to stimulate thought that corresponds to those paintings. Do you see?
So nothing here is real, but everything here is symbolic.
That's exactly correct. It obviously works wonderfully for dealing with beings on your plane of reality, which I don't think we've ever done before.
He's pretty damn condescending.
Yes, that's exactly correct. I am damned condescending. Thank you.
You know what this looks like?
To me, it's something quite beautiful that you couldn't comprehend. To you, unless I've missed my guess, this is a piece of what you call fine art.
This is not fine art. This is an advertisement for Stetson cologne.
Oh dear. I was thinking the advertisement was the girl with the nice smile. Toothpaste.
Mona Lisa brand? From Da Vinci?
Right.
No.
You're a little mixed up.
I'm sorry. I'll change them.
It's not necessary.
The Stetson ads aren't that bad. It's an interesting choice.
I had not only those Packard Bell speakers that were mounted on the side of the monitors without any shielding between them, so that every time you turned the computer on, the magnets in the speakers caused distortion on the piss poor quality screen. I had an all-in-one where the CPU, the main board, and all of the components were stored in a drawer underneath the monitor. It had one power button. It turned on the monitor and the CPU. or on the main board, I guess. One power supply that was mounted in the monitor, so if the power supply blew out, you lost everything. You could not run the monitor. You could not test the computer without putting the system tray back in the machine, because it got power via a proprietary adapter at the front of the tray. It was just a fucking mess. It's a goddamn horrible machine. You couldn't turn the screen off without turning the whole PC off, which was a bitch. It was an utter wreck, and the thing ate itself, basically. One morning I woke up, turned it on, and it's like, yeah, my components are blowing out. I had a cascade failure. I got to a point where going into the CMOS crashed the board out on boot. It couldn't, probing for drives, it failed. It toasted a ID hard disk on the way out. It blew the controller board out. It was a goddamn mess. I never bought a Packard Bell again. Largely because by the time that happened, they didn't exist. I was a participant in the Packard Bell suit in the late 90s, early 2000s, where they basically got caught putting used parts in machines marked new.
I don't recognize this kind of tree.
That's a dwarf orange, I think.
Stellar hypothesis.
You mean I'm right?
No. I mean, that's not really a tree. It's a stellar hypothesis. It hasn't been getting much bigger, I'm afraid. I just don't think about it enough.
What kind of plant is that? Rather, what kind of plant would that be if it were a real plant?
Schefflera.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. You pluck a leaf from the plant. The moment you do, the leaf vanishes in a wisp of colored haze, and a thought occurs to you. The thought flits quickly out of your mind before you can give voice to it.
Hey. If you're going to be plucking ideas, the least you can do is remember them.
Parabolis has artistically provided the Stetson advertisement in reverse. This red universe has a small masking tape label that reads Rusty.
What's causing the color of this universe?
Lots of red giants?
Supernovas?
Is it hell?
Grenadine.
Parabolis stands, gathers his papers, and puts them in his briefcase.
Okay. Dog and pony show time. Let's go.
The litigants for our next case are now on their way into the courtroom. We'll be back for the case of Stop the World, I Want It Turned Off, after these messages.
What the hell was that?
I just wanted to make you feel more at home. Isn't this how your legal system works?
No.
Parabolis, you brought refreshments. We can always count on you.
Exhibits your authority.
Is he talking to us? Or about us, rather?
Oh, I hope not.
I don't think so. Seems like a long way to go to send out for snacks.
Listen to them.
Objection!
They're like little savory puffs of organic matter with rudimentary philosophical underpinnings.
You've really outdone yourself this time, Parabolis, and I thought those little things with the cool whip around the sides and the uranium in the middle were great. What were those called?
Mushrooms in a cloud?
Objection!
All right, Gingernich is right. Let's get on with it. Snacks later.
Thank you.
Parabolis, Gingernich was just giving us a look at Lynn, Raymond, Rusty, and Snuffy. Are you through with your presentation, Gingernich?
Almost. I want to go on record that I am personally horrified by the prospect of shutting down the Universe Generation Project. I don't need to tell you how important it is and blah, blah, blah.
Objection.
I'll sustain that. Gingernich, can you be more specific?
Well, my love of evolving universes is well known. The element of chaos we create out of the simple percolation of matter and energy has challenged the way we look at our omniety. But what has come out of the universes since then? A few aesthetically pleasing molecules, some very amusing theological constructs.
Cool Whip.
But these are divertissement and folderol. Certainly not a proper expenditure of this administration's continuitesimal empiricism. So while I believe the universes have served their purpose admirably, even I must regretfully conclude that there's simply no justification for maintaining them further. Besides, I need Parabolis for other projects right now, to help take up the slack for the cuts we've made in the ephemerally cosmic insurance corporation.
Advertisements and folderol? Is he actually talking like this?
He's not saying those words. He's not actually saying anything. But the way you're hearing it is the essence of what he's expressing.
Thank you, Gingrich. And now let's meet our other litigant. He's a lifelong immortal, he enjoys the outdoors, and his hobbies are gourmet cooking and creating the universe. Let's give a warm galactic overlord welcome to Parabolus!
Thank you, Your Authority. I'll attempt to make this as brief as possible. The charge has been leveled against continuation of the Universe Generation Project on the grounds that it no longer produces viable conceptual material. These entities are with me to help me prove otherwise. They are from Raymond, one of my more ambitious universes. This race interacts in ways which I believe are unique. For one thing, they have a concept called friendship, a rarefied condition in which two entities not only communicate, but receive a special enjoyment from the mere act of communication. They also share a trust that permits them to touch each other spiritually without hurting them, most of the time.
Interesting. Is there any example or tangible manifestation of this bond we might see?
The board looks over the old photo, but doesn't seem to have the appropriate significance.
What is this?
A silent whistle. Ralph comes when I call. Yes, I did. John Saul's Blackstone Chronicles.
So the whistle impels this creature to join the other?
No, I don't answer because I have to, or because I'm required to, but simply because I like to.
This is in no way unique. Certain entities, even in our realm, enjoy the presence of certain other entities.
Friendship may be a worthwhile concept, but hardly unique.
As I indicated, Your Authority.
Have they any other properties you would consider of infinitely redeeming value?
Most definitely. Is it not unique to find a race of creatures that work cooperatively in the spirit of altruism? That would risk their existence to save another race, even one with whom they cannot communicate or befriend, but simply because they feel their world is richer for the presence of this other race?
That's intriguing.
Have you brought any physical manifestations of this trait?
What is this?
An example, Your Authority. This was created by these two entities out of the spore of a third entity, with whom they can neither communicate nor befriend, but for whom they risked their lives to prevent its extinction.
Objection.
On what grounds?
What you hold in your hand gives sensory pleasure to these creatures at the expense of the creature they saved, thus rendering their act selfish, not altruistic. In fact, altruistic acts give these creatures spiritual pleasure. It feels good for them to commit what they laughingly refer to as altruistic acts. Therefore, the acts are hardly altruistic.
Always?
Often enough.
Mother Teresa, the shameless hedonist.
I'm afraid, Parabolus, that Dingrinich's point is well taken. Have you any more evidence of worthwhile singularities that might be grounds for maintaining the universe?
If it please the board, Parabolus is grasping at straws.
I have to agree.
One more item, Your Authority, and I believe I can satisfy your requirements.
Speak!
This race laughs.
Which is?
They go to great lengths, sometimes disgusting lengths, to invoke in each other a spontaneous, involuntary explosion of positively charged energy. They use it for everything. To heal, to calm, to amuse, to define, to form and reinforce spiritual bonds, to deflect pain.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Of course you don't. If you understood it, it wouldn't be necessary to preserve it and study it. And they're the only race in all the universes that generate it.
Gingrich jots something on his notepad, tears off the notes, and hands it to his assistant. Rip! The board members chat amongst themselves for a moment before continuing.
We are intrigued by this concept. For the current time, Gingrich, we'd like for you and Parabolus to maintain the Universe Generation Project until we've had a chance to study it. Agreed?
Point of order.
Yes?
It has come to my attention that this concept, which we have identified as humor, is not unique to Parabolus's universe. In one of the smaller universes under my charge, there is a race called the Flutwig, who use this laughter for the same purposes.
There must be some mistake.
Since the Flutwig universe is much smaller and more economical, I contend that Parabolus's Raymond universe be terminated. Should the board wish to study humor in the future, the Flutwig will be available at a greatly reduced cost.
But I was positive.
The board confers again for a few moments. At one point, one of them closes their eyes and appears to go into a trance. When he awakens, they talk again briefly.
I was positive you were the only race that laughed.
Only one I know of.
It is true. The Flutwig are holders of humor. Gingrich's suggestion is a wise one. The Raymond universe is hereby closed, and we will hand down decisions on Parabolus's other universes shortly.
Objection.
This meeting is adjourned.
Parabolus, his jaw set, vanishes instantly. Gingrich smiles and vanishes as well, his aide going with him. You and your entourage begin to file out of the boardroom when you're greeted with a familiar voice.
The defendants are on their way out now. Mr. Stonebender, let me ask you something. How did you feel about the judge's decision to bring your world to an end?
Don't ask such stupid questions.
Doug looks at you in utter horror. His lower lip begins to tremble as if he's about to cry, but instead he evaporates before your eyes. Parabolus was furious, wasn't he?
Yes, and I don't think he's used to feeling that way.
When you emerge from the mist, you find yourself standing back in the hallway. Parabolus's door is open.
Where's Parabolus?
Excellent question. And I don't like what I see in that shelf.
It's gone.
Everything.
Raymond, what happened to you?
How long you think before Callahan runs out of booze?
Parabolus's red universe is obviously still functioning.
Why is it our universe is the only one shut off?
How much you want to bet our universe is only about 10% of the total mass of all the universes, but we use 75% of the resources?
Symbolism! I used it right this time. I think. Close enough.
Why didn't they shut off this one instead? It doesn't look like half the universe ours does.
Did. Maybe it's not drawing enough juice to make anyone unhappy.
This universe is still actively contracting. Lucky stiffs. As you reach for the blue orb, Noah stops you.
Jake, you don't know what you're doing.
It's not like it's our universe.
That's right. It's not. But it might have to be.
Fine.
There's no...
I said fine. Sorry, I'm not taking the destruction of the universe as well as you are.
Noah decides to let you stew in peace.
Welcome to Sim Universe. Please speak your password to enter.
Jetling.
Invalid password. Terminating Sim Universe session.
Go! Parabolus's desk has been cleaned off. Hoping that Parabolus left you some clue as to where he went or what to do, you rifle through the desk's drawers. You find nothing but a couple of half-realized rubber bands, some spearmint gum wadded up inside a theoretical construct, a copy of Cosmopolitan with a quiz Parabolus has taken entitled How Happy Are You Really Keeping Your Universe, and a nice pair of sunglasses.
Great. Now, sunglasses.
Maybe you should take them.
Nah, I won't need them.
Stock ticker is quiet right now.
That's about the best thing that can be said for it, I guess.
You're not here, friend.
I'm going to open his briefcase.
Why not? He's stranded us here. We have to do something.
You open the briefcase. Inside you find a computer printout, reams and reams worth, all with Raymond's name at the top alongside the names of about a dozen other universes, including Parabolus's own Lynn, Rusty, and Snuffy. The list of assets and percentages goes on and on. You hand out the printouts and everybody begins to scour them looking for something, anything out of the ordinary. Recalling Gingrich's words in the hearing, you look up the Flutwig. You also look up humor to see how much of it the Flutwig have.
They don't have any. Zero humor.
Does anyone?
No, just us. We had 100% of the shares, and it's marked no sell.
So, Gingrich was lying. We have a quality none of the other universes has. Perhaps we should take this into the board and show them.
Maybe he didn't have to lie. Maybe his flunky went out during the trial and engaged in a little skullduggery.
He would have needed to log on as Parabolus and change the no cell to a cell.
And then log on as Gingrinich and put in a buy.
You replace the briefcase.
Welcome to...
Chocolate.
Invalid... Welcome to...
Duplicitous.
Invalid... Welcome...
Mount Weather.
Invalid...
Gentling? What the hell was gentling?
Romania.
Invalid...
There must be something we're not getting.
You mean other than the passwords?
I think Gingrinich left something in the courtroom. Gingrinich has thoughtlessly left his notepad on the desk. Fine, let him wonder where it is. Whoop! You approach Gingrinich's desk and stand in front of the notepad. While the board member's attention is on muttering complaints about how hard it is to find a bargain on quantum state motor oil, you swipe the notepad. This is Gingrinich's notepad with part of the uppermost sheet torn off. You deftly rub the pencil against the notepad, just like you've seen in the moving picture shows. Slowly, words appear on the notepad, the letters emerging as white on a field of charcoal gravy. Or gray. Gravy? It says Humans, Raymond, Cell 1 Share Humor, buy for Flutwig Accounting, QD31416, Parab, Glinda, me, shot. Hey, it looked like gravy for a second, I'm sorry.
Welcome to...
Glinda.
Glinda.
Greetings, Parabolus. How may I be of assistance?
Hello. What are my options?
You may conduct a new transaction, review prior transactions, perform a user maintenance function, or log off.
What are user maintenance functions?
Current user maintenance functions are check memory usage, check fragmentation, user help, or change password.
Make mine a user maintenance function, please.
Certainly, Parabolus. Would you like a memory usage report, a fragmentation report, user help, or password change?
Actually, I am hungry.
I think I'd like to change my password.
Please speak your new password.
Romania.
Please speak your new password again to verify.
Romania.
New password confirmed. Is there anything else I can do for you, Parabolus?
Make my...
Certain.
Give me a memory usage report.
The system is working at 70% of its capacity.
And its capacity is...
System capacity is infinite.
So what's 70% of infinity?
Bad command or file name. Error 11. The system has become, is, or will be unstable. Flushing memory. Greetings, Parabolus. How may I be of assistance?
So we're back at that whole infinity, portion of infinity thing. Carl, we're back in Threshold again.
Make my...
Certainly.
Fragmentation, please.
Thank you. Fragmentation is currently at -5%.
Which means...
If the system becomes 5% more fragmented, it will be fully defragmented.
How can that be?
I'm sorry, all questions must be submitted in the form of a command.
How can that be?
Please consult page X-2Y plus N for fragmentation help. Is there anything else I can do for you, Parabolus?
Make... User help.
Thank you. SimUniverse is a quasi-existent interface whereby aspects may be bought or sold for any given universe or minimally sentient species within that universe. There is a finite quantity of each aspect unless and until the aspect becomes self-generating.
So, for instance, shared joy is joy increased.
Processing, correctamundo. All selections are made via voice command once the proper password is entered. For further instruction, please consult the documentation or contact your system administrator. Is there anything else I can do for you, Parabolus?
I'd like to conduct a new transaction.
Very well, Parabolus. Will this be a buy or a sell?
I think I'd like to go back to the previous menu.
Very well, Parabolus. How may I be of assistance?
I'd like to review prior transactions.
Parabolus, you have had 0 buys and 1 sell since your last statement.
And what was that sell transaction?
Parabolus, you sold 1 share of humor from Universe Raymond.
That's odd. Why would Parabolus purposefully sell a share of humor when he knew it was an aspect we had an exclusive on? Didn't he want us to have a unique aspect?
Gingrich must have done it. Or rather, his assistant, when he left during the meeting.
Bad commander file name, illegal function call, general protection fault, restarting. Greetings, Parabolus. How may I be of assistance?
I'd like to conduct a new transaction.
Very well, Parabolus. Will this be a buy or a sell?
Buy.
And for which universe will this purchase be?
What other choices?
Parabolus, your universes are Raymond, Lynn, Rusty, and Snuffy. For which universe will this purchase be?
I'll buy something for Raymond.
Very good, Parabolus. For what aspect would you like to purchase shares?
I hate to ask, but what are my choices?
There are at present 4,161,893,220,583,101 configurable aspects of the Raymond universe. Would you like a listing? Would you like a complete listing?
So it's Second Life.
How long will it take?
The complete listing will take approximately 5 units of end time to compile.
Can you express units of end time in years as corresponding to time on Earth in the universe Raymond?
Consulting conversion tables. Thank you for waiting. 1 unit of end time is equivalent to 16,744 Earth years.
I don't think we can wait that long.
You may try our faxback service. There's a queue of only 3 units end time.
Thanks just the same.
Very well, Parabolus. How may I be of assistance?
I'd like to
Very well.
buy.
And for...
I'll buy.
Very...
Humor.
Processing request. Please hold. I'm sorry, Parabolus. All shares of humor not already belonging to the race human in Universe Raymond are owned by the species Flutwig in Universe QD31416.
Whose universe is QD31416?
Universe QD31416 is owned by Gingrich. Would you like to make another purchase at this time, Parabolus?
Forget it. I'm not in a buying mood.
Very well,
I think I'll log.
Thank you.
Wow, it's like I'm playing a crappy stock simulator all of a sudden. Yes. Shot.
Greetings, Gingrich. How may I be of assistance?
Hello. What are my options?
You may conduct...
What are you?
Current
User maintenance functions for 400, Alex.
Certainly, Gingrich. Would you like a memory usage report? A fragmentation?
I'll take it.
The system...
What's the total capacity?
System capacity is infinite.
So how can you have 82% of infinity?
Bad commander file name. Oops. You ask a question. Infinite loop encountered. Reset. Greetings, Gingrich. How may I be of assistance?
That was Sierra's old error message. Oops, you've encountered a situation we didn't think of.
User maintenance functions for 400, Alex.
Certainly, Gingrich. Would you like a memory...
Fragmentation report, please. Whatever the hell that is.
Thank you. Fragmentation is currently at +4%. Next time, try using ScamDisk. ScamDisk can detect and fix a WIV333X ASOID V8112 string variable not found, not appreciated, not wanted, foobar. Greetings, Gingrich. How may I be of assistance?
Use...
Certainly.
I'll change my password.
Please speak your...
Mount weather.
Please.
Mount...
Is there any...
User help.
Thank you. Sim universes, only sentient races may exhibit the more diffuse...
So, for example...
Processing. Bingo.
The Miku...
All selections are made via voice command once the proper password. For further, is there any...
I'd like to
Very well.
Cell.
And for what universe will this cell be?
The one with the Flutwig.
Very good, Gingrich. Which aspect of universe QD31416 would you like to sell?
Humor. Sell.
Processing request. Please hold. There is currently 1 share of aspect humor available for sale from the race Flutwig in universe QD31416. Would you like to sell 1 share of humor?
Yes.
Excellent. 1 moment, please. Thank you, Gingrich. Your sale is complete. Is there anything else I can do for you, Gingernich?
I'll log off now, if it's all the same to you.
Thank you.
All right, one more time.
Welcome to
Sim Universe. Please speak your password to enter. Okay, I changed
Romania.
Parabolis to Romania.
How may I be of assistance?
I'd like to conduct a new transaction.
Very well.
This will be a buy for Raymond.
Very good.
Pick an aspect.
Very well, Parabolis. I have selected sesquipedaliousness. Would you like to purchase sesquipedaliousness for Universe Raymond?
Sure, what the hell.
Excellent. One moment, please. Thank you, Parabolis. Your purchase is now complete. Shall I assign this aspect to a particular race?
Just spread it out among all the races.
Processing! Attributed.
Would you like to make another purchase at this time, Parabolis?
Does anybody actually know what that word means?
Let's try humor.
Processing request. Please hold. There is currently 1 share of aspect humor available for purchase from the race Flutwig in Universe QD 31416. Would you like to purchase 1 share of humor?
Yes, please.
Excellent. One moment, please. Thank you, Parabolis. Your purchase is now complete. Shall I assign this aspect to a particular race?
Definitely. Please assign this aspect to the human race.
Processing attributed. Would you like to make another purchase at this time, Parabolis?
Just pick an aspect.
Very well, Parabolis. Sesquipedaliousness.
I think there's something wrong with your random number generator. That's the same one you picked last time. Forget it. I'm not in a buying mood.
Bad command or file name. Systat Uptime Direct Readout Doctor Memory. That is an invalid program. Greetings, Parabolis. How may I be of assistance?
Wow, it's like using Windows 3.
Thank you for using Sim Universe.
The board member serenely turns to face you.
Is there any sort of appeal process?
Our minds are open. Should the situation change, we will be happy to reassess our decision.
But what's happened to our world in the meantime?
Oh, yes. Your universe. I'm afraid it's closed down.
Can we get back to it?
No, it's closed. There's no energy now.
Permanently?
That word is meaningless.
You know, I could deal with this right now, but I have the strangest urge. At the end of the hallway is a blank wall of fog. To see if I can get back to Callahan's.
I can't find the way that leads back to the bar. It's closed up behind us.
Maybe we're not supposed to go back to the bar.
Maybe there's no more bar.
That's a pleasant thought.
Well, so much for that idea.
What if I told you I think Gingernich may have cheated?
We have no cheating here.
But we have evidence.
No, you misunderstand. The concept does not exist. One does what one does. We have not established an objective standard.
You're weird.
Check now. Check on the Flutwig. See who's laughing now.
The board member's eyes flutter shut for several seconds. When he opens them, he smiles.
One moment. Where's Parabolis? I don't know. Gingernich.
Your authority. What's this about?
The tremendous act of generosity on your part, of course.
What act of generosity?
You have made Parabolis' universe, Raymond, the sole proprietor of humor.
When did I do that?
You had to know we would reinstate funding.
I did no such thing. You must have made a mistake.
There is a brief pause.
Reconfirmed.
Ditto. Don't say ditto. I hate that word.
No, wait. Wait just a minute. Get me a laptop.
I'm sorry, that's not available.
Budget cuts.
Haven't you heard?
Turn Raymond back on.
Done.
Damage report?
Well, all matter should have lost about a third of its density by now, but everything it's measured by will also have lost a third of its density, so they'll never know the difference.
But that's ridiculous. I used
You did.
What?
Used Parabolis' password.
Is this true?
I I'll take care of him.
What a shame.
Maybe some time spent in Parabolus's universe would be good for Gingranich.
Change his perspective.
Give him a sense of humor.
I hear they have humility there, too. Ooh, humility.
You kidding? We got humility up the wazoo.
Ah, they're still here.
I'm sorry. Would you like to go home now?
Yes.
And thus did we sail into another episode of Star Trek. Oh god, we're in Star Trek V. We're on our way to see God, I think. The bad Star Trek references, they just keep coming. God invented beer. Do you think he wants to skip on a drink? As Franklin put it, alcohol is God's way of saying he really does appreciate us. Notice the lights never went out.
We suddenly found ourselves back in the bar, and as we blew through the universe, everyone crowded around the windows and tried to get a good view of the trip home. And we were glad to see that all the lights were back on and that home was just as we'd left it. Noah, Josie, Piotr, Ralph, Joe, Alfie, and I told the others about Raymond and Gingranich and Parabolus's little computer game. We didn't know what became of Parabolus. Some were understandably thinking we were pulling their legs. Some thought we were heroes, and some, naturally, made light of the situation.
Whoa, so the world ended for a while except in his bar. Does that mean we have to reset the clocks here or at home?
Here, have you been through this before?
I was pondering that very same question while we were waiting for you to get back from wherever it was you went.
Well, I'm not so pleased with the way everything turned out. Don't look at me like that. Those of us here would have been the last people on Earth. And provided they'd resettled us in another universe, we would have been the forebearers of the next human civilization. I can't think of a bunch more qualified. Besides, I would have been the mother of all humanity. Cool job title, you know. Would have made me a divine being.
You're good, but you're not divine.
God, is she always this power-hungry?
Oh yes, Athena liked this once before.
Well, you better count me out of this. I lost Minerva.
Juno, I figured you'd say that. Go on, Scram, you left Demeter running.
Oh, I can see one of those going over your head, but it's Artemis too.
Don't be surprised. I knew I'd hear a series of puns, if I acted like a little prima donna.
I'd like to exercise the option.
You've got the floor.
I'd like to beg my friend's forgiveness for not being there when I should have. I was so angry, and that was such a strange sensation. These bodies lead one to strange behavior. There's a constant surfeit of corporeal and spiritual noise.
That's exactly correct.
How do you creatures stay sane?
Maybe it's in the equation.
Right. I don't think there's a need for absolution here. Hate to say it, and I know you're a supreme being of some sort, but as far as being human goes, you were born yesterday. And for a human, I'm led to believe you did your best to do the right thing.
I just hope it's a long time before we come up for another budget review.
Not to worry. You've got some friends in high places. 2 new friends.
And on we say goodnight to Callahan's Crosstime Saloon. Actually, much better game than I expected. I was hoping for good stuff, and I got it. I got it and then some.
We started in the city, had a drink in every shitty little gin mill.
And now Spider Robinson sings for us again. So I hope you all had a good time watching that. For what it's worth, the puns in the game are actually generally weaker than the puns in the books.
I believe I ain't sober yet.